Ron Copperman walks through the morning haze with a bounce in his step and a laugh that stays. He's got fire in his eyes like a holy revival. Says he's Pentecostal but he dances in style. Ron Copperman sings as he lifts up his pint with a hallelujah laugh and a twinkling light. He's the heart of the pub with his tale so colossal. Oh, Ron Copperman, my favourite Pentecostal. He cheers to the sky, then he downs his stout. Says, a little spirit, lads, what life's all about. He can quote the good book, then he'll joke till you weep. A saint and a joker, he's a man you should keep. Ron Copperman sings as he lifts up his pint with a hallelujah laugh and a twinkling light. He's the heart of the pub with his tale so colossal. Oh, Ron Copperman, my favourite Pentecostal. Once told the parson, let's pray, then we'll jig. Said grace on the barrel, then he danced a big gig. A miracle, they say he can walk on stout foam. When you're with Copperman, no night leads you home. Oh, Ron Copperman sings as he lifts up his pint with the hallelujah laugh and a twinkling light. He's the heart of the pub with his tale so colossal. Oh, Ron Copperman, my favourite Pentecostal.
Steps through the haze of steel and gears. Once anointed, now he mocks what he once feared. Pentecostal flames turn to embers in his chest. Skeptics crown upon his head. No time for rest. The truth like a hammer, scarred yet proud. Cuts through fantasy, shrouded in the crowd. A lover of reason where others stumble blind. Both poet and terror, a hero to his kind. Oh, Tim, they call him when the lights grow dim. Where dogma falters and the line grows thin. To the fallen he's a beacon, yet to some he's a sin. T-Grog the paradox, where does he begin?
Alrighty.
Life of the mind and life in his veins. Destroys illusions, yet finds beauty in the strain.
We play T-Grog's Requiem in the background for fun. Is that, I see green dots. That's usually a good sign. I'm using this new Hollyland lapel mic around my neck, and it seems to work pretty well for the most part. Good to see you, Nathan. Pseudo-Catholic. What happened to Pseudo-Catholic? I don't know. Just it wasn't working out the way I wanted, at least for the moment. We'll see. I'm actually going to be meeting with somebody from the local Catholic church soon, but who's took a while for us to get things together. I didn't push myself on anybody. Howdy, howdy. Biblio Ols. Oh, Biblio Bison. Biblio Bison. Have we met? The handle has me confused. One of the things with Pseudo-Catholic was interesting is that I noticed that it really it changed the flavor of the people who interacted with me. It seemed like people who were comfortable talking to Mark D. Parker were not so eager to reach out to pseudo-Catholic. And it might be the Catholic thing, because it has certain implications, I suppose. But of course, pseudo.
Once anointed, now he mocks what he wants. Pentecostal flames turn to embers in his chest. Skeptics crown upon
I shocked Paul Vanderklay in a private chat regarding I do enjoy gay men socially. I do find I don't know, what was it? It was in a private chat. So he posted a video of a group of a gay choir, a gay men's choir. And I just said, I just love gay men. I mean, it takes a lot of courage and to go out and just do anything like that. But they generally liven up. I don't know if they all don't, of course. But yeah, I don't have a problem with gay men. Which could bring us to another discussion. Let's turn down the music. Let's see. Or we could play something else.
life in his veins destroy.
All right. That was T-Gog's Requiem. And before that, we were listening to Ron Copperman, my favorite Pentecostal. Paul watched a salacious show on what was it? HBO Max. And he gave us a report about it. It's like a murder mystery, but set in the background. The background story is couples with post Christian sexual mores. In that, he echoed John Vervaeke's sentiment that two men kissing makes him uncomfortable, or it's, I don't know how should we pull it up for? Oh, it was behind the paywall. That's bad form, probably, to be pulling up videos behind the paywall. Damn it, Vanderklay. It was it was one of his better videos, actually. No complaints. I do find it funny. People's, feel free to come in. Oh, someone expressed, I occasionally get these messages. How's my sound? Can anybody give me a thumbs up? Is it good? I occasionally get these messages. How much controversy do you want tonight? I hope everyone is doing well where they're at. We're boiling here right now, by the way. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. I occasionally get expressions of disapproval. I won't name anybody. And I think maybe maybe I'm too creative with my channel, but I'm generally just I'm just a curious person. But in the group chat, someone had raised a statement that just let's see, where'd it go? Oh. Yeah. I don't know. I thought we were just having a conversation and things went south. But I guess the thing that really triggered, Paul Vanderklay said something. He was in the chat and he said, I wouldn't trade America's issues for Europe's. I don't think that's any secret. Paul's expressed that opinion on multiple occasions publicly. And I responded with this. I mean, maybe it was a little long for a chat thing, but I went with most of Europe's immediate challenges are related to an overreaction to Fukushima, geographical proximity to the Middle East and North Africa, difficulty recovering from COVID-related disruptions to the global economy because of their support for Ukraine against Russia, Trump's tariffs, the war against Iran, and climate change. Climate change is impacting us all and cannot be avoided. Before the Arab Spring, the average Western and Northern European enjoyed a better quality of life than the average American, in spite of earning less and paying higher taxes. Their ability to maintain that quality of life, I should have said inability, or their struggle to maintain that quality of life recently, is the result of the usual thing that humbles all great civilizations: mismanagement, overreach, corruption, war, and forces beyond their control. I think Europe particularly suffers from forces beyond their control. Just because we in the U.S. have a little more slack in the system, economically, geographically, etc., that allows us to absorb civilizational blows without suffering as much as the Europeans currently are, doesn't mean that we are not far behind them. Losing reserve currency status for the US dollar alone is probably enough to produce chaos on a level we haven't seen since the Civil War. I don't think that's an overstatement, but welcome, join in, argue with me. That's the whole point of this, right, is to foster discussion. The global status of the dollar is going to change. That's inevitable. The only questions are how soon, and will we be prepared for the shift? I'm not optimistic. And then I said something about no one talks about Brexit anymore. But that's impacted both Europe and the UK profoundly, I think. So, like most countries, we've taken a number of hits. I think certainly some of those woes that Europe is currently suffering are the result of American policy changes or decisions made, and for standing up against Ukraine and for taking in refugees. And they've taken a lot of blows. The one negative comment that came out of the chat that stands out was, young men don't want to hear old men talk about how bad things are and then also listen to them opine about why things are bad. Trump is bad, I get it, but I'm bored. And there's nothing I can do about it. Most of all, what control do I have? Most of what I have control over are local things. Sorry, the syntax bothered me, I guess. So, yeah, an old man talking about, what's chat for, right? I just thought we were having a good session, but I triggered somebody. Oh my goodness. Yes, we could go. There's a lot of instigators. Let's see, where is he? There he is. Sunday Ron.
Marky Parker.
You're coming in a little robot-y, but I hear you. How are you doing?
Scrum.
Is there like a middle finger with that this, Luke Thompson?
Robot voice. How do I sound?
There you go. Are you here? Am I robot-y? On your end?
Let's get out here.
Here, go get more foil. Wrap yourself in some foil. Stand on the roof.
I mean, you are so right about that.
It's funny. When you're getting ready to talk, just start talking when you're ready, Ron. I'm just going to respond real quick. Paul sounds like one of those suitors who. Oh, that's funny. That's funny, Nathan. No, he likes he's very excited. It was very interesting that a lot of people who were uptight about the Odyssey are kind of bending more towards it now, and he seems like he's excited about it, and it's getting like 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. People love it. Yes, we do. It is. This is good news. Ron Copperman, can you hear me? Oh, well. Oh, Little Faces. I like Little Faces better. It was good. It was good. Well, we lost Ron. Freddie's back. We had a short Freddie and Paul show. That was nice. Good to see Freddie. Ron comes through in dot matrix. If Ron's internet was a printer, yes, I agree. It's the oddness of it's always strange to me that it always struck ever since I've been involved in the corner. It's always been interesting how my presence, just talking, just saying things, upsets people. I don't know what you expect from me. I've never, there was another thing too. That some of it was the boomeranging between, I guess, or you could call it boomeranging. I'm just exhausted of going around the same mountain over and over again. Okay, this was sent to me. Yesterday I needed to be at no kings and no ice. Today all we need to be Catholic. That's just how it's written. The pattern is everyone else needs to do stuff except for MDP. I don't think I've ever said that. But just because I don't talk as much today about ICE, I mean, I've tried to warn you about ICE, try to warn you about this regime. I'd go to a No King's March today if there was one. If it wasn't so damn hot. You've been warned. There are people out there, probably family and friends, warning you about this. I mean, at this point, I think most of us, I mean, there's still some very hard-working activists out there who they don't mind getting pepper sprayed for no damn good reason, and they go out and confront these bums, and And of course, it is difficult to, it's a mixed bag. The pilot is out. Not sure what that means. Yeah, I lost my train of thought. It happens. See, I'm old. But it's, I don't know. Why don't I mean, right from the start, Jacob melted down. It's been, what, 2.5, 3 years? It has been 3 years yet. It's been over 2. So, say 2.5. Was Jacob the first to melt down, or Sartori? I can't remember which. But both melted down, privately melted down, not just publicly. And then it's every once in a while it rears its strange, bizarre head that because I am a certain age or something, I'm not supposed to have an opinion. Maybe my thought was too well presented. Maybe I should write more in emojis and in digital slang. Imagine having to defend no more wars or drain the swamp at this point, with Trump literally daily laughing about insider trading and helping his kids, etc. Yeah. Whatever, man. The thing is going to be, it's going to play out however it plays out. I'll vote how I want to vote. I encourage you to do the same. On the other hand, I'm not really planning, I'm not very active right now on the channel, for fairly obvious reasons if you follow the channel. Just a lot on my plate. I'm really not going anywhere either. How do you like this? This little guy, by the way, let's talk about the thumbnail. Entertaining Angels. This little guy's been running the neighborhood. He's a tiny little, he's like a whippet, but he's a mix, obviously. And he's super skinny, but he seems pretty healthy, and he runs down around the neighborhood like a complete maniac. And he's loose. I don't know, he's been loose for a few days now. And I finally saw him in my front yard or around in the neighborhood, right close by, where I had time enough to get some food out for him. And he ate. He wouldn't let me get within 10 feet of him, though. But, yeah, hopefully somebody will get a hold of him. If it's not me, we'll get a hold of him before he gets eaten by the coyotes or hit by a truck or something. But he's a fast little guy. Yes. Luke's being sarcastic. I think voting is just something you do. If it didn't matter, they wouldn't work so hard to own it, to own your vote, or to take it away, or to whatever they are, you know. You wouldn't, you know. Your vote counts in the same way your money counts. They want your dollars. How you spend it. Everybody wants your money until you haven't got any more. There's a generational argument here, but meh, not worth it. Yeah, I agree. I mean, other than to say that I'm not going anywhere. Will pseudo-Catholic come back? I wonder. What will come? What will come next? I think the important thing is nothing lasts forever. And always remember that. So when you and we've had strange, challenging times before, and we'll have strange, challenging times again. And in between, there might be times that are less difficult. Why? So you have to prove it. I know you say it's a psyop. It's baked into the political society, right? Into the system we live. It's a means by which we choose representatives and leaders. There are psyops possibly being, or we could say very likely, being imposed upon you. But voting itself isn't a psyop. You have to think above it. You can think like, stand for what's right. I mean, the psyop, well, what's a psyop? Maybe we should just define our terms when we're using it in this way. I mean, isn't it a military term? Isn't psyop a military intelligence sort of thing? So what do we mean when we say psyop? Not voting, it produces the same result as voting in terms of you're just guaranteeing that you're removing your small amount of input. So if you have some wisdom to offer and you express it by selecting candidate A over B, your not voting is simply guaranteeing that somebody isn't getting your support. Ron, are you coming back? Psychological operation. Yes, I know it's short for psychological operation. What do you think that means, though? Brain surgery. I assume brain surgery is conducted by neurosurgeons. So you're speaking metaphorically, I assume. Up. Ron, did you find the tinfoil?
We're working on it, bud. Is it working?
I hear you now. Yes, you're coming through. Loud and clear, Ace. Can you hear me? You can't
Yeah,
hear me?
I actually
Okay.
can.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know if I'm sounding like a robot.
Oops, I'm sorry, Rand. I misquoted. I misread it. For some reason, yes, you did say belief surgery, brain surgery. Oh, Ron, I didn't do this. I didn't kick you out. Belief surgery. Well, conduct your own. I don't even know what that means either. I really don't. I promise I'm not trying to conduct belief surgery on you. If somebody else is, yes, if they're, I suppose if you're saying, what, McDonald's is trying to take money, get you to spend your money on their burger as opposed to the competing burger. Marketing is a way of, you were doing well, Ron. You were doing just fine. Come back in. Gulf of Tonkin textbook, Gulf of Tonkin is a specific historical reference. We can actually look at it, right? It was the event engineered, like, in a sense, to deepen America's involvement in the Vietnam War. Okay. It's not the first. Remember Hearst? What did Hearst, what is famous? I want to get the quote right. Let me look it up so I get it perfect. Hearst. Of course, let's see here. It's going to be a roundabout way. Wasn't his whole bit about the Lusitania? Yes. I may have the ship wrong, though. Let's make sure. You furnish the pictures and I'll furnish the war in the lead up to the Spanish-American War. That was the Maine. Not the Lusitania, wrong war. After the battleship USS Maine exploded in Havana Harbor in February 1898, Hearst's New York Journal blamed Spain with unverified dramatic front page stories. So long before Gulf of Tonkin, we had these sorts of things. Things that rough? So who's seen, I've got nothing. Who's seen the Odyssey? Who wants to see the Odyssey? Who's interested in the Odyssey? Who's read it? Who's not? Do you care? Listen to the book. Okay, how was it? Was it well read? Okay, let me see if I can find. Oh, I wish I'd clipped it. They don't let you clip things like they used to. But there was a. Have you guys? I think the guys are getting way too entertained by Claire's presence these days. You can blame Claire on me too, by the way. She was completely pushed to the margins around here until my interview. She'd been around for a long time, but I mainstreamed her, and now everybody is. I think they're enjoying her presence too much. Was it on a Luke stream where the guys got very excited when she said the wrath of God? Was that a Luke stream, Luke? Oh, Whitestone name. Eyes. See if I can find it. Was this it? Maybe not. Might have been a different one. Someone's at the door. Mark S. How you doing, Mark?
Very good. How are you?
Okay. Just being obstinate. I'm just in, I don't want my absence to be interpreted as passivity. So I thought I would it's too hot to do anything right now. So
I got to change my interpretation of your abstinence then.
Yeah. I think people started to get the impression that I'm running from the Jordan Peterson sphere or something. I don't want that to happen.
Who got that impression?
I don't know. I'm just kidding around. No, I had read from a comment. A chat statement. You may have missed it, where I was told that nobody wants to hear from an old man talk about how bad things are. I wasn't even really talking about how bad things are. But
that's what they said about Jordan Peterson?
No, what they said about me. This is what somebody was saying to me. They said this to me in a private chat, one of group chats. And then didn't think that I think, it's, have I said everybody needs to be Catholic? I don't think I've said that, but this was.
I thought, don't you have to say that in order to become Catholic?
Well, you kind of have, everybody wants you to join their church. But I've never said that. And that's one of the things I've wondered about is can I actually become Catholic and not believe that everybody needs to become Catholic? Although the Catholics actually have thought this through, and they pretty much say no, you don't have to become Catholic.
Right. But you're in danger. You're in more danger.
Are you? Is that how they say it? I've not.
That's one thing. That's one thing I've heard. But I was in the Discord, the Discord Catholic Shark Tank, and somebody looked up Church of Christ, and the Catholics affirm Church of Christ baptism. So I am saved, but probably not saved enough to make that
No, I don't think it's like that. I don't think they think in that kind of terminology, because their ideas of salvation are so much more nuanced than you're either on. It's more of a light switch with most evangelical Americans.
Right.
It's you're either on or off, you're either in or out, and because they have that middle ground, they have that theological category of purgatory, for example, and their view of sanctification and holiness is pretty well developed, because they also have the congregation of saints. I don't know what they call them. I mean, when I'm in when I'm in a mood to be provocative, I might say pantheon of saints, but I know that's probably rude. It's more like just a view of they have a very hierarchical.
In the end, I mean, isn't it still better to be on like the very, very lowest guy in heaven than the top guy in hell?
Yes, I would say that's probably I would say that's definitely yes. If you can scrape by and get in under, as the door. What is it?
That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, it's to slide in under.
I mean, yeah, I was looking
Now,
up if I should
are you
buy
baptized? You were baptized in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Yes, sir.
So was I. I think all
13 years
three
old.
times. How old were you?
13.
Okay.
Yep.
They got me young. I was 9.
Yeah.
What were you looking up? You were going to say something before I rudely.
Oh, I was looking up if I should buy a Thomas Aquinas commentary, like on New Testament. Like I don't know. Is it like I want the mind-blowing commentary? I want them to blow. I don't want no. Like my family sent me this commentary, and it's just like because I was like I'm reading Isaiah. And he was like, "Oh, I'll send you this commentary." I was like, "Okay," and it's just like, yeah, this verse proves Mormons are wrong, and this verse proves that this. It's like all this apologetics, and it's like, no, I don't want that. I want the interesting things, So I was wondering if like Thomas Aquinas, like what's in his, like he has a commentary on Romans, I think, and commentary on John. Because I was listening to a commentary by Origen of Alexandria on the Book of John, and there was some pretty mind-blowing stuff in there.
What'd you like about it? What jumped? What one thing? Just grab one thing that kind of stuck.
Okay,
out.
One of the coolest things that he said, which I can't believe I've never heard this, but like the Eucharist, is bread and wine, and bread is a symbol of strength and nourishment, and wine is a symbol of medicine or celebration.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, so you get your like nutrition from the bread or your spiritual nutrition, and then like the extra, either the medicine or the celebratory part from your wine, but then it's in a spiritual sense,
Mm-hmm.
And so I never thought about that before. So something like that. But of course, in my tradition, like a lot of people say that the wine in the Bible is non-alcoholic, which is just hilarious. So, they wouldn't view it as medicinal. I think wine, in order to be medicinal, probably would have a little bit of alcohol in it.
Yeah, I would think so. Otherwise, it's grape juice.
Yeah. So that was one thing that I found very interesting.
Anything else? I mean, because Origen's less controversial for some reason in the age of social media Christianity. He was pretty controversial 30 years ago.
I had like even my fundamentalist conservative Church of Christ minister, I remember him quoting Origen. Like I feel like Origen is one of those guys that everybody kind of likes, even if they denounce him. Because like you listen to some people try to symbolize the Bible, and it's just like, I don't know, But when Origen does, it's like he's so well read, and his memory is so good that it really makes sense, It's pretty. It just yeah. He's not just some whimsical mystic just making stuff up off the top of his head. He's really
right.
Like connecting all sorts of parts of the Bible together in awesome ways. But I kind of was just listening to it while I was driving. It's on YouTube for free. So,
Okay, sure.
hey, yeah, I don't feel like you're. I mean, honestly, like on Twitter, I feel like you're much different on Twitter than you are when I talk to you on YouTube.
Okay. I'm not on Twitter that much right now, but yeah, I was using Twitter in a weird way, and I think people mistook it as because if you ever notice, if you were to pop over to the Twitter feed that's mine, and scroll through it, you're going to mostly find links without any commentary. Every once in a while, you get me to say something on a link, but it was mostly links because I was just posting things for later reference, usually, and just to kind of track and see how long I could sustain it. So there was a lot of repetition, but I think just posting links can be seen as provocative. But is there anything that particularly stuck out that makes you think that I come off differently on Twitter, other than you only have so many characters unless you pay extra, and I don't pay extra?
Well, I haven't been on Twitter in a couple months myself, but I just remember you just kind of posting a lot of political stuff on there. It seemed like that's almost all that I saw you doing.
Right, that's how I did. It was how I was using. I was primarily using Twitter for that purpose. Although I tend to like, is it political, for example, to post a link of somebody getting roughed up seemingly unjustly? I mean, it's
right.
It seems like the politics happens between the ears of the viewer.
Well,
it doesn't have to be seen as political.
I recently
seen as documentary in a sense. Sorry, go ahead.
No. Yes, I recently went on. I opened a different account just because I wanted to contact somebody that I couldn't contact any other way. I opened an account and I only followed a few people. And a few days ago, just all over Twitter, I don't know if you saw these videos of these men on the beach of Spain, like supposedly invading Spain, right? And it's
right.
like this is proof that blah blah blah. And with me, it's like maybe that happened, but whether it's somebody like getting shot unjustly by the police that a liberal will post, or it's something that right wingers will post like that, like immigrants are invading our country. Like I just am like, I'm not gonna let this possess me, like because these videos, because what I noticed about that video is like there were no boats. Like where did these people come from? That could just be AI, and I don't know, like videos like that. I feel like depending on the angle of the video and then the angle of your commentary, people just twist what happened in whatever direction benefits their narrative.
Well, it's a real event, right? I mean, there is something happening in that little. It's like a city. It's a little tiny little enclave of Spanish territory in North Africa, right? Right, the tip of Morocco or something.
Yeah, I think so.
Strait of Gibraltar in that area, and there were a flood of refugees, and apparently there is a history of Morocco kind of getting a little slack in their patrolling their side of the border to kind of extract some financial help from Spain with regard to financial support of their border security. And Spain's been in control of this territory for apparently several hundred years, probably going back to Isabella and Ferdinand or something, who knows how long. But, at one level you could say, well, why is Spain, it's like England being in France. At some point England just left France. It finally gave up, right? They ended their participation, their occupation of land on the continent with in a similar way. They were down to one little city and they finally just abandoned it. I can't remember the name of the city for some reason. It's an important city. So Spain is in the same situation. Why are you even there? I mean, do you have to be there? It's like England staying in, or the UK staying in Hong Kong. I mean, yeah, I mean, it sounds like a lot of people in Hong Kong would have preferred for them to stick it out, but they finally just said, well, you know, the lease is up. We got to go. So they left.
Well,
This is a real event.
yeah.
All I'm saying, it's a real event that's
Yeah.
happening, but what's behind it, right? Why suddenly a big surge of people?
Well, no, for me, it's not what's behind it. It's what's on the other side of it, of everybody interpreting certain things. You know,
Or
like
trying to interpret it, right? Trying
like
to put a certain
I'm
spin on it.
well, yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, there is tons of Nazis on Twitter, and so they. I mean, I'm not even like a leftist, so I'm not making accusations, but really, it is that way. There's you know what I mean? There's tons of like just outright white nationalists and genocidal racists on
Right.
Twitter.
And how many are
And,
getting boosted? How many are getting boosted are botted? How many are bots, do you think? What percentage of the...
Well, what do you mean by bot? Do you mean like just an AI generated thing, or just somebody who's an anonymous account?
I would...
Bot thing.
No, I'd say if there's a human being behind an anonymous account, and they're typing, that's not a bot. But apparently there is the ability to create an account and have it more or less run by a machine with minimal
Yeah.
human input. That's what I mean by bot.
I'm sure that those are instrumental in promoting stuff in one way or another. But it's like you know, people spend. I don't really yeah. I don't mean to claim to be a simpleton, but I just I haven't been following anything. I just decided I was gonna follow the
Yeah.
Wisconsin governor's race.
Okay.
Like I was like, I'm gonna learn what's going on, and then I try to find out, well, what are the policies of the candidates, and none of them have any stated policies. And so, like, we're going to cut back government spending. It's like, that's not a policy,
Right.
you know, or like, we're going to work for Wisconsin families, and it's like, it's frustrating, like all this stuff. It's like there's so much rhetoric, and I just have to, like, I'm on the treadmill right now because I'm trying to get my blood sugar down, because if I walk enough, my blood sugar will go, it's pretty high.
Okay.
I just walk, it'll just come back down. It's
Huh.
like, I just got to worry about that, you know?
Yeah. No, I get that. That there's...
And also Origin of Alexandria.
Does he bring down your blood sugar?
Uh,
Let me ask you this. I'll just go back to Origin. We can go back around to the other stuff later, but
I don't know anything.
No, I'm not asking. Do you like that allegorical, very scholarly, obviously, but I mean, as I recall, it's been a while since I've looked at any Origin, or any of those guys from the era, the Cappadocians or whoever. I mean, it's been a while, but
Alexandrians, yeah.
they tend to be allegorical. They're much more so than we have been. Maybe, although looking at Peugeot and Peterson's influence on the current batch and the surge in Orthodox, the Orthobros, it seems like that the allegorical reading of Scripture is having a new day.
Well, yeah, I mean, because I mean, I think that's a big part of reading Scripture. But for me, it's like, so I had a book by Maximus, and he'll be like, so most people think this means this, but the gnosis meaning, or the meaning for those who know, is actually this. And that's the problem when people make their allegorical meaning the meaning. Like, I feel like with allegory, if it's true, it's true. It doesn't, but that doesn't mean it's without meaning. But I love that type of hermeneutic. You know, I think it's fascinating when it's done well. Yeah, but I
Well, Nathan mentions Augustine, and Augustine is clearly not Origen. Their whole approach seems very different. And I'm wondering, I mean, Augustine certainly seems to, he's a church, he has higher status. He's a doctor of the church, Origenism.
yeah.
That's just if you're a Catholic, but I mean, Augustine was extremely important to Luther and to Calvin. He's been important to, I mean, he was important to all the Protestant theologians that I read 20 years ago, 30 years ago, before. But all of a sudden, it just seems like, I don't know if Augustine is dropping in favor, but I mean, it just seems like like you mentioned, Maximus, the church father, that whole group, at first, what is it? The writers between, say, 300 AD and 500 AD or 400 AD, that group seems to be, and they had a certain, for the most part, they did that, or they had a more allegorical reading. I mean, just by the simple fact that they basically reinterpreted Jewish scripture to be talking about the church as Israel. I mean, they very aggressive in terms of how they interpret. The promises were Israel is the church for many of these writers, right? I mean, and it's
I don't know. I'm not familiar with everybody's view on that.
I mean, it's obviously going to be nuanced, and but we went through a period after World War II when we started taking, because of the Holocaust, and there was a new sensitivity to respecting the integrity of Jewish history and Jewish interpretations of scripture and so on, that period, it seemed like the period of allegorizing the history of Israel and turning it all into really about Christianity. There was a window, say between World War II and say 10 years ago or something, then in which we'd stopped doing what had been done throughout most of Christian history, and now it seems like we're swinging back to it. I could be wrong.
So are you talking about like dispensationalism? Like Scofield Bible Zionism, sort of?
Well, I mean, no. I mean, some people. No, not just that. But it's a. I guess there is a after World War II. After World War II, it seems like Israel was brought back into the mix. Both literally, right, with the state of Israel, but it was now viewed as it. No one before World War II, to my knowledge, anticipated a restored state of Israel as fulfillment of prophecy. And after World War II, it became all the rage for quite a while. I mean, up until the last 5-10 years. I mean, certainly up through the 20th century, right? I mean, Chuck Smith of Calvary Chapel, practically drove his ministry off a cliff by predicting, by getting too specific with his interpretations of prophetic scripture about Israel and so on and so forth. I think at some point he said it was 1984. That's when, or whenever it was going to be, 84, 88, something like that. The rapture was going to happen and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I haven't studied all Well, I mean, I haven't really learned the history of like Pentecostalism and everything. I'm pretty familiar with like Restorationist history, and then like a broad brushstroke of 2,000 years of church history. But these more modern, it's funny, like what I was raised in, we weren't like connected to the broader evangelical world, you know?
Churches
So,
of Christ, you mean?
yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So the ones I was in, at least.
No,
And so,
you're right. My uncle as well. No, they weren't.
And
They
so,
vary.
like we weren't premillennialists, and
Which was pretty
and-
unusual for evangelicals in, say, the 1970s, 80s, and 90s. Most evangelicals were premillennial.
and like when I would hear like Baptists, their pastor up there like talking about how we need to preserve Israel or talking about politics, like, and I never heard my ministers talk about politics, you know,
Right.
or even
Not in that
world
way,
events
anyway.
very much.
My uncle could get, the preacher, who Church of Christ minister, could get very political in terms of his conservative politics. And I only learned after his death from his daughter, his view, like he did not like the Apostle Paul, which blew my mind. He didn't like, he really didn't like the Old Testament all that much. I mean, he was an extreme New Testament Christian of a sort, but it blew my mind when I heard he didn't like Paul. I didn't even know you could be a Christian and not like Paul, but I'm learning more and more that there are people out there like that. Not just my uncle. It was a big, he read the Gospels, he quoted, he had most of the New Testament quoted to memory, including Paul's letters. But she told me, no, he had a really low opinion of the Apostle Paul. So strange to me.
That's weird. I feel like Paul's probably, I don't know, I feel like Paul is the most quoted part of the Bible in Restoration tradition most of the time. Because
it's like I haven't made a deep enough dive on the writings of Alexander Campbell to know what his thoughts were of Paul, but I assume I have never seen any reason to think that he had a low view of Paul.
The crazy thing is like when it gets into the 20th century of this ilk, it's things change a lot. And that's kind of what I came out of, like this, because I guess in the 1970s, it was a hot time for debates in Christianity. There were lots of debates between different denominations and a lot of debates between atheists and Christians as well. And so, like, after that debate slowed down a little bit, but that period sort of drew lines and, like, solidified people's sides in a lot of ways. And so I grew up in the post that to where it was very much defined who we were and what we believed, and we didn't really mess with too much else. So it's like Alexander Campbell, I mean, some of his stuff, like I actually have the Christian Baptist set, and every now and then I'll read a couple pages, and he was just like figuring stuff out at that time. But by about the 1960s or 70s, it was like the more conservative branch decided what they believed. But anyway, I was talking about this kind of stuff with Ron this morning. I don't want to.
Ron was live streaming? Did I miss Ron this morning?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And
did his internet work?
Yeah.
Okay, did you, though were you around the church when, like, those, you're too young for the late Great Planet Earth stuff, Hal Lindsey probably. So you would have been just a kid when he was a big deal. I was young when he was a big deal, but
I've heard the name, but I'm not really familiar.
Yeah, he was influential in my teen and 20s. Then came what was that fiction series about Left Behind series. Were you around for any of that? And did your Churches of Christ, because that's not part of your theology, but on the other hand, it's
No,
a good ghost story in a sense. I mean, it's a
no, we
good.
were against it.
Okay, you're against
We
it.
were against, yeah. We thought it was just like, and when I say we, and I think that's a valid critique, that it's like fiction that people basically just turn into gospel,
Right.
and
Some
it's
people
just
took
a
it real
bunch.
seriously,
Yeah,
right? I mean, they showed
yeah.
it, and they certainly there were book clubs. I don't know if they showed the movies in churches or not, but it was that kind of a scene. Billy Graham did a. Remember? See, you weren't in the Baptist scene. See, I grew up. I
No,
was baptized Church of Christ, but then was immediately taken as a child into the Southern Baptist world, and of course that's Billy Graham country, and so the Billy Graham had a movie production company, and one of them was like Left Behind, only it was a really poorly written, poorly produced rapture movie. It's very much along those same lines.
yeah,
We watched it in church. They brought out it was real film going through a projector, and it was a whole thing.
yeah, yeah. That's interesting. We didn't really have that type of sway. I've never really seen any movies like that, but it's I don't know. I don't want to. I don't know. I find myself just like talking about Church of Christ when I come on these things, and
Oh, I don't
I
care.
just
No, it
uh,
helps me. It helps me learn about my own tradition because I mean, see, I grew. I mean, like everything with me, right? And this is what's probably confuses people who can't see everything I say or aren't living with me. But I do have. I have many feet, and they're all in different streams, right? I mean, I straddle just my own upbringing, straddles Church of Christ on the one hand because of my uncle's influence on the family and my
yeah,
initial baptism into it. And then growing up though and going to a Baptist schools. I mean, I
yeah.
went to a Southern Baptist church and went to conservative Baptist high school, junior high.
So
And
Southern Baptist, is that Reformed Baptist?
no, I wouldn't call them
No.
reformed,
Okay.
although they are theologically they are a hybrid. There's no question because they're
Yeah.
not. Um, they're Arminian to a point, and then they become Reformed or Calvinist. I mean, it's very much
Sure.
like a popular Southern Baptist thing in the day was once saved, always saved.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
um, which was, so that's an
Yeah.
extreme
We were more
Calvinist
once
position.
we were more once saved, probably not saved.
Well, see, yeah, I mean, it's you. Churches of Christ are clearly Arminian.
Yes.
There's no
Well,
question about it.
I mean, well,
Although they have a strong
there,
view of the sovereignty of God, right?
there, there's a CSU scholar named John Mark Hicks. He's pretty progressive, but he did his PhD on Arminius, and he claims that Arminius is closer to John Calvin than us.
Yes, I would
Yep.
probably agree with that. I mean, I'd
Which
have to think it
I've never
through
read.
carefully, but yeah, that's my first
I mean,
instinct to agree.
that's just what he said. He said, I've never read a word of Arminius and very little Calvin, but so it's like to say we're Arminian, yes, the common understanding, yeah, yeah, we're Armenian. But even
Yeah,
though it's like a lot of these things, like I don't know, um, I feel like people they just choose opinions so fast. Like for me, like Calvinism is like 40% true. Yeah,
mhm.
it's like, and or something like, you know, today at church, the guy was talking about how Baptists will believe in faith alone. It's like, no, it's not faith alone. You got to have also works, and it's like, no, like I don't like. I think that works is part of faith. It's not. They're not separate things, like. I don't know. Like a lot of these arguments to me, it's almost like you create an enemy. Somebody creates an enemy for as you, and then you adopt that, and then you have to defend this position. And I feel like people argue over the wrong
There's a lack
things.
of nuance
For
because
me,
it's easier to force you into to pigeonhole you, to force you into a category, and then, I mean, it's, yeah, I get it. I agree with you, is my point.
um, yeah, but it's like the thing is, I was watching a video yesterday by a man named Thomas B. Warren, who was an apologist. He actually debated Anthony Flew, who was basically the Richard Dawkins of the 1980s. He was an atheist philosopher. Thomas B. Warren debated him. Thomas B. Warren was a Church of Christ apologist, and it was a famous debate. And then like 20 years later, Anthony Flew came to believe in God, and it's kind of interesting. But
Hmm.
I was watching some of Thomas B. Warren's videos just because like I want to know where I come from because he was such this monumental figure. And it's the thing is like with Church of Christ apologists, they have their arguments tight, so tight and strong that when they come up against a Baptist or a Pentecostal or a Catholic who just goes to church and prays, then they don't have answers, and so they just demolish them in debates, But there are like I find questionable foundations to the hermeneutic a lot of the time, like to have that level of exclusive certainty. Like I wouldn't claim that, I think that generally the interpretation is good, but a lot of the time, yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to say anything. The hermeneutic is questionable a lot of the time. I'll say,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but people are so sure. It's like winning in debates, demolishing people in debates. So,
Well, I'm definitely more comfortable asking questions than providing answers. I mean, it's because I mean, it's like someone stands and gets there's a storm and you come into a building. It's a big storm, right? And you turn and look to if you're I don't know, the owner of the building or am I safe? It's like, best of my knowledge.
yeah,
I don't know if this is, or you're safe enough, or an earthquake, right? I mean, we're good for a certain rating maybe, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean it's like it's always, it's conditional. It you can't you know and
but
people want absolutes. Go ahead.
yeah. And there still is that strong contingent in the South. And I mean, I try to. I have like I've tried to make friends with people in that group, but I just like I think they can sense I'm not fully in, and they kind of
Well, I think I can kind of let me if I can just bounce off you there. I mean, have you know William Lane Craig, right? Are you acquainted with him?
little bit. He's like a philosopher and
popular YouTube apologist, right? I mean, certainly in evangelical circles, he's seen as but I find him to be. I would never, ever in a million years point somebody to him if to somebody who is interested in or is looking to be persuaded to, I don't know, a life of faith in Christ. I mean, I just don't find him even remotely persuasive. And I just, every time he speaks, it's almost like, it's like fingernails on a chalkboard, because he's so certain, but and yet seems to be so clueless about the validity of criticisms against him. You know, I mean, it's like he's just, I don't know. I think it's this, the pretense of certainty undermines legitimacy in my mind. I mean,
Well, yeah, and there's a point at which it turns into like a cockiness. And I've never really listened to him, but there's some people, it's like, you know, like there's something that somebody said that, you know, there's a good chance that we're wrong about really big things, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I'm not saying that you should just like doubt everything. I'm not saying that, like, but you have to have some humility and give people space to, you know, like if they're not seeing it your way.
Well, it's like when somebody calls himself, I mean, I just, philosophers who project more car salesmen, they're more of a car salesman than they are a philosopher. I mean, it's just like, I guess that's what I mean. I'm more comfortable with questions than I am with answers. I can't sell water to a fish. I mean, it's just like, it's not my gift. But some people, that's all they are all the time. It's like Wes Huff. He comes off more like a salesman than I mean, I've met salesmen that look like and talk like Wes Huff. Yeah. And it just freaking, I mean, because this stuff is really important. I mean, it's even if it's not true, let's just say it's even not true. Let's say there's no God, there's none of it. Let's say it's all fake. It's all a lie. But, or it's just not true. I mean, not a lie, it's just say it's just not true. It still is important because people are hanging their lives on it. So it needs to be taken seriously. And to think that I'm just trying to sell you. My job is to convince you, to manipulate you into, what can I do to take this Jesus, this Lord and Savior out for, you know, a home with you today? I mean, it's just like, it's so weird. No, I just can't. I can't go there.
Well, I mean, I hear you, but you know, it's like the Ford Motor Company wants salesmen. They need the guy that's going to make the sale. And usually when somebody steps onto the lot, they didn't get there by accident. They didn't get there because they didn't want a car. They got there because they were probably going to buy one anyway. Mm-hmm. And so it's like those types of people, they're not going to, it's like somebody who is a committed atheist or whatever isn't going to listen to Wes Huff and then just change their mind in a day. But somebody who, it's more like people who are searching on the fence, going back and forth, that might be the little thing that pushes them over.
I'll say like a Joe Rogan. I mean, that was the most visible exchange we've had between, say, Huff and someone prominent of the type you're talking about, right?
Yeah, I don't watch much apologetics. I did watch some of that debate between. The only thing I've ever seen of William Lane Craig was with Zizek, and I actually watched it for Zizek because I find him really entertaining. You know,
right? Yeah.
But he didn't actually talk very much in it. It was so I didn't watch much of it.
Zizek has a gift for sucking the oxygen out of the room. He texts.
He's just fun to listen to. I don't agree with like his politics or his, but he's just like, he's interesting, you know. Mm-hmm. It's like he's like a comedian kind of. But
And he's actually a really good writer. You would think that he's hard. If you think that he writes like the way he speaks, you'll be surprised. If you expected that, because he talks the way he talks, he'll say something, then say something. If you were to map it out, or try to write it out, transcribe it or something, and he speaks in long parenthetical sentences. It's just like one set of parentheses within another set of parentheses. It's one parenthetical phrase within another parenthetical phrase within another parenthetical phrase, and then he'll tie it up in a bow maybe at the end, maybe if you're lucky. So you got to trying to follow his chain of thought. It can be challenging, but he writes really clearly, and because he doesn't do that at all. Because you would think he'd be like footnoting you to death or something, and he doesn't. He's actually a really good writer.
Yeah, I've never read anything. I just watched a bunch of videos of him, listened to interviews. But I don't like. Sometimes I tell myself I've got to learn some apologetics, and I was like looking up some Bethel McCruz stuff, and
she's another one that just cringes me out.
Well, the thing is about her is like, she has talked about how a lot of apologetics is really bad. And so she has some work on like apologetics that literally is probably doing more harm than good. So I'm like, well, that sounds a little bit more trustworthy, because I don't want to learn apologetics that aren't good. Because my whole apologetic, like I have kind of like, my thing is more of like a Pascalian thing. It's like, it's more about, well, does it give your life meaning and make you happy? Rather than does it line up scientifically? Like, to me, all that stuff, you could just convince yourself of whatever you want. I mean, people believe the world is flat, So to me, it's more like, does it make sense? That's kind of why I like I enjoy the allegorical reading of Scripture, because to me, like Christ is just everything. Like once you see it, you see, like Origen talked about how God created birds as little crosses because Christ ascended to heaven, like that's why birds were created like that. They look like little crosses falling in the air. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly right. That's like the best apologetic to my mind, It means a lot more than like, well, the stratosphere of the geological records. And it's like, whatever, I don't,
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I mean, that's interesting. Yeah.
No, it's, yeah. Is there a good apology? I mean, I don't know. I think, when I first came to the corner, I'd stopped bothering. I mean, I'd moved theology as a category of study. Really I'd moved it all the way over, into try to give you a vivid analogy, like tarot reading. I mean, I really kind of, it had really, my attitude of the study of philosophy, the reading of theologers, the reading of theologians, right? I just considered it, I just moved it over into, they're all just more or less, it's about trying to study tarot.
Or could you say it's all straw?
Something like that, right? Just kind of, just not relevant, not interesting, not important, more likely to get me in trouble than to do me any benefit, right? Because I think tarot, I mean, say tarot or palm reading or astrology, I think that stuff can actually get you into trouble if you start basing your life on it. I don't think I'm not making a spiritual argument about it, right? I'm just saying, I'm not saying like talking about demons and all that sort of thing like some people get into. I'm just saying you start basing your life on things like that, it's like might as well just, roll the dice. What am I going to have for dinner tonight, Roll the dice. I'm going to stay with my wife tonight. Roll the dice. Am I going to? I mean, almost like I Ching or something. It's crazy. You'll get yourself into trouble living like that. And I think theology reading, I've thought going into this, worrying about theological issues, felt a lot like that to me in the lead up to my time now with the corner. And it has gotten me in trouble as soon because I was like, Luke Thompson starts saying I need to, Luke's got his view on, he's got a very firm view on universalism. Sam's.
Wait, what? Luke's a universalist? You got to be kidding me! I've never heard him say that.
Never heard that? Let's go check it out.
Wow.
I think I got receipts.
I'm just kidding. Because even like when
Sam's Unitarianism, right? Sam's, which is really he calls himself a biblical Unitarian, which is a really weird compound label phrase. Because there is no such thing. Unitarianism is a very modern invention. I mean, it goes back to 17th century or something like that. But biblical, that's too. What is biblical, right? Was there even a Bible before the printing press? I mean, the words were there, the scripture was there, but it wasn't. When did we start calling we didn't have books printed like they are with Holy Bible on it before the printing press, to my knowledge. We had scriptures compiled into large books, and then we had ancient Bibles and all that sort of thing that were handwritten and artistic, But
there were definitely a lot of there were thousands of Europeans, and there were thousands of Europeans in Southern Europe in the 1200s who had the scriptures in their own language, in French and German.
But
that was long before the Reformation or anything.
Right, but we didn't even have. Nobody had ever sat down within at least Western Europe that had we had never. The Catholic Church didn't even decide which books were in the Bible and which were out until after the Reformation, until after Luther. Luther comes in and they all start screwing with. That's what I mean by there's a Bible that's locked and loaded, right? That is the Bible. Right. That's it, period. You don't add to it, you don't take away from it. But before that, Luther himself wants to throw out, he's questioning Revelation, he wants to throw out James.
He didn't like James, yeah. But didn't Nicaea decide the canon?
Well, did they?
I honestly don't know the history of the canon that well either. I feel like I should know that.
Yeah, it's a little confusing. Anyway, that's all I'm saying.
All I know is when I read the Gospels, like the book of Mark, and I read about Jesus, I'm just like, okay, I feel like I have to make a choice if this is real or not. And I'm just going to say, yeah, so okay. And that's my.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, that's the
my
thing.
Textual criticism.
The scripture is the scripture. Anyway. So, anyways, that was a complete tangent rabbit hole because of Sam's biblical Unitarianism. What is a biblical Unitarian? It's a phrase that just or a label. I'm just like going, huh?
I wonder, and this is speculation, if it is just a term so they can differentiate themselves from the Universalist Unitarians.
Right. He doesn't want to be in Ralph Waldo Emerson's camp. That's how I take it.
Right. They're more orthodox, even though not on the Christology.
Yeah, and that's probably that's about the best reading, even though the label itself is questionable. But yes, I think it's a signal, right? He's signaling I'm one of the good Unitarians.
Right.
Not like those heretics.
Yeah, because it seems like I've heard him say his whole reason for being on the TLC was to try to plead the cause for biblical Unitarians within the rest of Christianity.
But he comes out of a church tradition the Way International, which I grew up, I mean, again, going back to my Baptist upbringing and Church of Christ, and I think I know my uncle would have thought they were a cult. That's how they were viewed.
You're talking about
The
Way
Way
International?
Yeah.
Is a cult. Okay.
That's how
Lots of
used to
people
talk
say
about
Church
it.
of Christ is a cult.
Well, in the Church
they're-
of Christ,
they're
calls
not.
everybody else a cult. Yeah.
They're not, but they're culty.
Well, and if
We're not. I am a member. I'm a proud member. I should not say that.
the
I'm
Church
a member
of
and I will
Christ,
defend it.
can you be Orthodox, say, small o Orthodox? I know this is another one, weird, the way we abuse language over time. I mean, Orthodox had a very specific meaning until the Protestant Reformation. And then because they wanted to give up on somehow when Protestants, I don't know when, it's probably a good question for the Oxford English Dictionary or something. When did the use of the word small o Orthodox become popular within Protestant circles? It seems like we didn't want to call ourselves Catholic anymore, so we're going to start using the word Orthodox to describe ourselves, so that we could distinguish ourselves from the bad Protestants, because we knew there are bad Protestants, right? And there are good Protestants. We don't want those. We're like, I'm a Lutheran in Germany. Well, we're not part of those crazy Anabaptists, right? Who take over a city and start up plural marriages and burn
Hey,
furniture.
hashtag not all Anabaptists, bro.
But that's the origin story of Anabaptists. It's a great origin story.
See, that's another thing I like. There's so much rabbit holes. I wish I could, I have. I'm more of a specialist than encyclopedias. Like I know
Sure.
a lot about a few things, but I don't. I try to have that's something else that would be interesting. The Anabaptists are fascinating.
They are. Well, and when you look at a modern Anabaptist and a 20th century Church of Christer, they look a lot alike in a lot of ways. I mean, not all of them, but even though they're completely separate traditions, it's interesting how they both more or less arrive to many of the same conclusions. And then, but see, the thing is okay, so we're going to use the word Orthodox, small o Orthodox, to describe a certain kind of Protestant. And that is, okay.
A lot of Anabaptists would fit small Orthodox. I mean, like the Mennonites and
But
the Bruderhof.
but they don't, like the Church of Christ, they don't have the creeds. And can you possibly be Orthodox by any definition of the word and not have the creeds?
Well, are you Orthodox if you recite the creed, or are you Orthodox if you just unofficially affirm everything that's contained in the creed? Are you still Orthodox? Or must you actually affirm the creed as it's written?
It used to be a thing with Church of Christ that we don't use the word Trinity. Although you said you're baptized in the name of Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, but we don't use the word Trinity. But if you don't have the word, can you have the theology or philosophy?
The line I was in, we used Trinity, but when I visited Catholic Mass or I read Catholic writings, I mean, that's much of a more pronounced thing. Like we believed it, and I've been reading a book on the Trinity by a Church of Christ guy, and it's basically what Catholics believe in, but in a more simplified sense. Mm-hmm. But anyway.
But why would you discard it? See, this is what I don't understand, is we're going to discard, it was a big deal for those Presbyterians who more or less started the Restoration movement, right? They were mostly Presbyterians, but they were a hodgepodge. But for Oliver Stone,
yeah,
for Barton Stone discarding the creeds was a big deal.
Yeah, I think but see, the thing is about discarding the creeds, is that, and especially confessions, was that it started as a unity movement. And they saw these confessional details as being separating Christendom. And so the reason that they wanted to get rid of the confessions and the creeds and just go back to the Bible alone, I mean, say what you will, but it was a noble effort. And we wouldn't be divided. So you wouldn't have Presbyterians divided from Methodists and Anglicans and Anabaptists. You just have Christians only, you know. And so but no, I mean, it's interesting watching Church of Christ now, like the younger generation coming up. So I'm 43, but if I look at the guys I see on Twitter who are in their late 20s and early 30s who are cutting their teeth and like actually becoming valid ministers and everything, it's different. It's a different culture than I grew up in. It's actually a lot more open to church history. A lot, like people are like, I think, well, I have nothing wrong with affirming the Nicene Creed or the Apostles' Creed,
Yeah, my uncle had no interest in church history.
Well,
as
now
a Church of Christ minister 30 years ago.
The thing is, but we didn't used to have to. We never met the first I ever met an Eastern Orthodox was in a Dostoevsky novel when I was 18 years old. I never heard of that. And it was like, oh, I guess they're kind of like Catholic, but not. Like I don't even understand what that is. But now they're everywhere, and they're claiming to have this rich history. So it's actually, and there's been a lot of discussion between Church of Christ and Orthodox on YouTube. And it's quite interesting. It's like, it's not overly aggressive. It's pretty respectful. There's like a mutual respect there, even though they both think they're the only one, right?
Right.
So I think that and also with the Catholic churches, a lot of people going to that, it is forcing COC to really look at history more deeply, which I think is a good thing.
Sure. Well, if people can talk nicely to each other, that's always a good thing. They can be respectful, hear each other out.
Right. And the thing I like about TLC is that it's like sometimes there have been a few actual arguments I have gotten in TLC where it's like, okay, we're going at it, right? But most of the time, like, that's not why I'm here. It's like, okay, if you really want to fight, okay, we will. But it's like, I kind of just want to talk about other stuff, across lines, and just because I enjoy it, and there's actually nothing else like this, like on YouTube. Well, maybe there is, but it's like mostly just debates.
It's free. Yeah, I think it's, I think a discussion that flows, and I like to hear what I most of the time I'm putting stuff out there to give people something to push up against, right? I mean, get something going. And it's, I want not so much, as Paul calls it, conversation or something. It's let's see what we can do. But what I was talking about though is my view of theology was really low, and because all these people were kind of taking super hard positions theologically, and I just found like, okay, I guess I'll have to delve into these subjects, and I'll start thinking about them. Of course, the more I think about them, the more trouble I get myself into, right? I mean, the more I talk about it and think about it, because I just so it's maybe I shouldn't. Maybe it was foolish. I allowed Luke Thompson made a thirst trap for me, and I got stuck.
Well, it's like you're debating these fractal metaphysical theories that just lead forever. And it's kind of after a while, like I'm not interested in that deep of theology. Like I agree with what Risto said that the best apologetic is a changed heart. I mean, I think some theology is necessary, especially if you think too much like me, but it's like I want to read theology that's actually going to like get me closer to God. I'm not really worried about like trying to find the best theory about everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that was, I guess I probably leaned more in that direction, 3, 4, 5 years ago than I feel like I've gotten out of the habit. It's like, because I don't know, having, yeah, theology is incredibly, or can be incredibly impractical. And, an apologetic that does focus more on the personal, but it doesn't, who knows? I don't know. So where are you at? What you doing tonight? You wrapping up for your day? What time is it where you're at?
Yeah, it's 10 to 8 here. I believe I'm 2 hours ahead of you.
Yeah, you're 2, I think.
So I was just planning on getting on here for 10 minutes, but you kind of trapped me, Mark.
That's it.
You made me.
So what did you and Ron talk about? What did you and Ron talk about?
Just me.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, because I was having church problems. I don't know if Ron's still in here, but I've been. But then I kind of had an experience today. I went to I know I've been like, I knew I needed to like leave the church I'm at, but I'm just comfortable, And there's just been sign over and over, like, dude, you're past due, get out of here. Because it's kind of crumbling. A lot of things are falling apart there. And so there's one by my house. But the thing is, I went there a few years ago and I was kind of unfriendly to people. And so they kind of don't like me. And I was like, I've got to.
What'd you do?
Because I would go in and I just had a chip on my shoulder. And I was like so mad because I knew I had to go back to church and I didn't want to. So people would be like, hey, you want to like have coffee sometime? I'd be like, no. And I'd just walk away. And, or, like somebody'd be like, oh, what brings you here today? And I'd be like, look, I'm just here because my dad wants me to come here. And
why do you need to leave the church you're at? Without being too specific. Without saying anything that's okay. Why do you think things are falling apart? Is it falling apart for you?
The biggest reason, like the big reason, is that it's far from where I live.
Right.
That's the bit, and so it's like, and then a lot of things have happened where I'm just not comfortable there at all, and so it's like, well, I might as well just go to an uncomfortable church near to where I live,
Right.
And so. But anyway, I went there today and people were friendly because I've been kind of going and trying to be more friendly. And then I went there because I'm not, I kind of feel like I don't let the woo control my life, but you got to have some woo sometimes, And so I went there and the singing was so good. The music was just perfect. And so that was like getting my spirit going. And for whatever reason, during communion, in my mind, I was singing this song that I haven't sung in probably 20 years, as far as I remember. This kind of old song called I'm in the Glory Land Way. You heard that one? I'm in the Glory Land Way. Anyway.
Yes, I didn't recognize the lyrics. But yeah.
I was singing it in my head. And then all of a sudden, the guy gets up and he goes, next song we'll be singing is Glory Land Way. And then we sang it and I was like, oh, I guess I'm supposed to go here. Like, I don't know why I had that song in my head in the first place. And then it's like, then we sang it out of nowhere. So it's like, it kind of said, it's a big indicator that I might be on the way. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that that was the definite sign, but it went well in that sense.
Well, I can see, I can imagine Ron uh, being supportive of that little bit of woo. Was he?
That actually, I talked to him before I went there, so I didn't tell him that.
Oh, you haven't pitched that part to him?
No, and actually, yeah, um, I yeah, I don't know. It, it's just yeah. Got
Do you
nothing more
think
to
you're
say about it.
overthinking it? I mean, is it just if it
Some
came
of
out
it,
all right and you just maybe, I mean, like you said, you got to leave the other situations just, if not for anything else than say logistics, right? It's just too far away.
right? Yeah,
So you got to go somewhere. You don't have to, but you feel like you need to go somewhere. So, but this is a good candidate. I mean, do you not live in
became a better candidate now.
a better candidate now? Is it the
Yeah.
only Church of Christ near you? Is that kind of part of its
Well,
appeal?
the one I went to today is the closest one to me. There's not really that many in Wisconsin, so there's like 3 within a half hour. You know, uh,
Because it was what, more Disciples of Christ country, if that, right?
oh yeah,
Wisconsin's probably
there's
big on
huge
Luther. Okay.
there's huge Christian churches out here. Actually, sometimes I go to it.
Oh, I forgot.
Uh,
I'm not even thinking. There's the Churches of Christ and their Christian churches, right? The independents.
yeah, yeah, and those are huge. There's like
Okay.
mega Christian churches out here, um, and they probably don't even know like what the restoration is. They're just
Probably
like
not.
evangelical generic, you know. But so yeah, the thing I didn't like about this one is that I went a couple years ago and it was very right wing. I'm not just saying conservative. I mean
Yeah.
like borderline far right.
Right.
But the
Right.
thing is, like the church I was at, that I'm leaving, that I was going to in the bigger city, it was like becoming super woke. Which, you know, both of these things I don't mind too much, but when it's every single week, it just gets so old to me, you know.
Right.
And it's like every week, racism is bad, and it's like, dude, there were more black people here before you started preaching. Like they all left once you started coming, you know, preaching about racism every day. Like people got over that. Maybe I shouldn't say that. It's not exactly like that, but it kind
No,
of
I
is.
can see. I think you're right, though. I mean, it's like life is more complicated, and people probably want. I mean, wherever there's only so many minutes in the day, right? And people's lives are complicated, and
Yep.
and you only have them for, you know, I after 20 minutes I start to drift unless the sermon is really good. Because these sermons more often than not grate on me more than they used to. I used to like a good sermon. Now I don't even, I don't want to be revved up. I like a good
Dude,
lecture.
I'm with you, man. A lot of the time, I'm just like, you know, you're trying to convince me something that's important to me that I think is just important to you.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like actually you don't know what's important to me. You're just trying to get me excited about something that is like kind of irrelevant to me,
Yeah.
and that's how I
See, I
feel a lot of
really
the
think
time.
it's important that we. This is how I view my politics, and it may never. This is what I've been trying to communicate, is that I want my politics to reflect my values as best as I can, and that's it. It's not the politics are my values or the politics influence my values. I'm shooting for the opposite. I'm shooting for my values, my faith, to shape how I view the world and act in it, even in big ways and small. So, and so I'm not going to endorse. I mean, I want the complete stranger to be treated as fairly and justly as I would want to be treated under any set of circumstances. So that's just how things roll out. Using, but then getting super symbolic and ideological, like I'm not unsympathetic to a very inclusionistic, I guess you could say, position around church and faith. But if you're to a point where you're dyeing your communion bread into a rainbow, or you're flying a flag of any kind in your church, I start to get a little uncomfortable. My church had an American flag in it. I hate that. Not that I have any problem with the American flag, but I don't like it. I don't like flags. I mean, the symbols I like are the ones that are most traditional, I guess. Crosses.
Right.
Certain kinds of iconic art, either in stained glass or painted or whatever. But I don't want flags of any kind.
Yeah.
And I don't like symbols that are partisan, that are modern and partisan. Not that I'm against even those symbols. I'm pretty liberal, folks, but I don't want my liberality front and center up there. I certainly don't want it standing beside the cross.
A lot of that stuff is going to push people away, because they listen to like different YouTube channels that are, it's like the people are so emotional about these issues that if you, even if you have a valid, noble cause, the way that the American system works is that it just gets attached to this like hyper emotional propaganda machine. And so all of a sudden it becomes no longer a cause, but like an obsession. And so if you bring that into church, a lot of the time it does more harm than good. And there's, I don't know,
Well,
I
say
feel
you're
like
coming in. So let's just say I'm sorry to interrupt, but let's say you're like a pastor. You're a new pastor at a church. You come in. You have a certain view that says, boy, this is a big mistake to have. In my church, it was the American. There's the crosses at the middle, right in the center, above the baptistry. On one side is the American flag. On the other side is the so-called Christian flag. It's a white field, blue square, and a red cross in the middle of the blue. Anyway, something like that. So you have the Christian flag, whatever that is, and then the U.S. flag in the sanctuary, right there, right up front, right side by side, kind of framing the baptistry. Say I come in as a new pastor. It's political to do anything, right? It's political to leave it. And it would be, but you'll lose people if you take them down, or even if you move them, say, from the sanctuary to the foyer, right? Foyer, whatever you call it. So even if you move them out of the sanctuary into a different place in the building, that itself it will be controversial. You can't win.
Well, you might be right. But even the church I went to today is very much like the first time I went back was the day after 4th of July. And it was so much of, we're so grateful to 250 years of prosperity and freedom, so on and so on, to where it's like, but even they don't have an American flag up. They don't have one. Or I guess I'm probably going to become a member of this church now. But see, that's taking it down. I mean, I guess if you already have it up, then taking it down would be a statement, but not putting it up in the first place would probably be the best bet.
Simpler is better. And that's a surprise, though, with coming out of the Restoration, well, the Stone Campbell Restoration, because there's lots of restorationisms, but the Stone Campbell Restoration movement, that my church, and I've seen many Christian churches, well, the Baptist churches I attended had the same thing, as I recall, an American flag, a Christian flag. in the sanctuary. Very bizarre. But that they would, for the restorationists, because for the Stone Campbell people, it seems like the whole, if where the Bible speaks, we speak. Where the Bible is silent, we're silent. Well, there was no American flag there was no America in the Bible. So, boy, that itself is a kind of, but it's a cultural phenomenon that probably goes back to the Cold War.
And I think that when you say that there was a lot of similarities between Stone Campbell movement and Anabaptistism, I think that's true. I think that, but see, the way I view that is that, like, well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to just interrupt you. I was going to go on a different rabbit. If you want to finish.
No, you didn't interrupt. Go ahead.
I think one of the big differences is that, see, Anabaptists started in like Switzerland and Germany, right?
Yeah. Germany, right?
Restorationism started in America, but it was most Scotch-Irish immigrants. And like Campbell was a Lockean rationalist. He was he studied philosophy in Scotland. Mm-hmm. And so I think that the Anabaptists are more collectivist. And I've always heard this, I've heard this said before, that like the continental countries are more collectivist, and then the British Isles are more individualist. And I feel like Anabaptists are much more community oriented. Restorationism is more individualistic. And therefore it's a little bit more intellectual. It's a little bit more intellectual than the Anabaptists, I would say. And I've heard people explain that, the British, since they didn't really have any enemies that were going to invade, they were able to be individualists. Like, that came out of British culture, whereas Germans are much more collectivist because they were surrounded by enemies, like on the land. And so I think there's something to that. So and then the English, John Locke, British empiricism, that fit in with American frontier gentleman farmer scholar thing.
Well, I think of Alexander Campbell as probably the most globally minded of any of the major figures of the 19th century Churches of Christ movement, the Stone Campbell Restorationists. Because it is, I see it as the ultimate, the kind of the most Christian of the American religions that arose out of the 19th century. I mean that in a sense that the most connected
orthodox.
They're the most connected to European Christianity, which is, there is, in that sense, there's the most small O orthodox in a sense. Because most restorationist, most American religions, this restoration movement is very American. It's a very American impulse. It seems like there's the American Revolution and almost like boom. You've got, the Shakers. Ann Lee is born in England, but she comes over. She really gets established here in America. The Shakers become established, and this is where America is where it explodes, and it doesn't survive for pretty obvious reasons. But they're a kind of restorationist movement. Because that's a roundabout way of, because they this whole idea, they're taking the priesthood of the saints, so to speak, to its really logical conclusion and a prophets, but you get this with.
Are you talking about the Shakers?
Yes, the Shakers. The Shakers and The Shakers immediately find common cause with what happens at Cane Ridge. It's a very,
Well,
and
I
they
mean,
go there and go ahead.
the reason that Campbell was so powerful and Stone and then the predecessors, McGarvey, Lard, Lipscomb, etc., is because of how logical they were. Now, I am not saying that they that I'm saying that they were like logicians, like you know, in their education, whereas they were surrounded by a lot of mysticism, and so
And they
they
reject it pretty much.
they did largely reject mysticism. I mean, there's exceptions for sure, but I mean, every religious person's a mystic if you talk to them long enough.
No, what I'm
But
saying is, well, my argument here, maybe I'm making myself very clear, I guess, is that I'm starting to see the history of the church in America as there's an awful lot of what we call Christianity, which is just really American religion, and some of those religions are closer to traditional Christianity than others. I think the Churches of Christ, the Stone Campbell movement, of all the restorationist movements that arose in the 19th century, the most prominent being Mormonism, right? I mean, Stone Campbell is the most Christian of this category of religions that I think of as just American. And almost all American religion is about restoring the original without taking into serious consideration history, if that makes sense. They all begin from the premise that that something about the traditional church is broken and has been broken for a very long time. The Mormons.
well, every Christian believes that.
Well, do they? I mean, isn't that the whole orthodoxy?
Well, I guess
it's a
maybe not
reaction
them.
to it. And the Catholics,
Um,
but
the Ortho
what do the
bros fight
Catholics say?
amongst
I don't
each
know what the
other.
Catholics say on that.
They fight amongst each other as much as they fight other people.
Who does?
The Ortho bros. They're always
Oh yeah,
pronouncing each other too.
Well, and the question is see, and this is I guess part of my point. I've not written this down or developed this. I've thought about it a lot, but I've not formulated it really clearly. So this is probably why I'm doing a very poor job of explaining myself. Is that it's very possible this thing that we're calling the orthobro or the orthodoxy, I'm just going to call it the orthodoxy, this American surge of young, this surge of young Americans into Eastern Orthodox religion, right?
Yes, yeah. It's kind of funny to me. I'm sorry, but yeah.
Well, I think it's yet to be known whether it's going to be the establishment and growth of Eastern Orthodoxy on American soil, or if it's going to be just another turn of the wheel that is American religion that is just part of a cycle that began with Jonathan Edwards and is just you could call it revivalism, or it's
almost
Christianity
like the
unrooted from. I'm sorry, it's just Christianity unrooted from without any geographical roots. Go ahead.
Yeah, Eastern Orthodoxy without any geographical roots.
It makes no sense, right? I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, how can you possibly be an Antiochian?
But I agree that it's yet to be seen, like what is going to happen with this. I feel like in America everything is a business, and for better or worse. And so right now Orthodoxy is great business. It's like when Facebook was first started, it took off and then it levels out, and all these companies, they take off
But
and then they
think how
level out.
strange. Have you noticed how strange it is that the turn that evangelicals have had over the last 20 years, or maybe not that long, 10 years, towards Mormonism. Mormonism and
I didn't know that.
mainstream evangelical Christianity get along much better than they ever used to. Maybe because they have maybe because
Okay.
woke or woke, so-called wokeism is the unifying driver behind it all, but they talk a lot more than they used to. And in the
Sure.
corner, it's kind of a faux pas to suggest that a Mormon isn't Christian.
Well, that's because the corner people are more like they're more theologically obsessed, I think, because like maybe I don't know. I hear what you're saying, but Mark, I got to get going, man. I was only going to talk for like 10 minutes, and
Well, you're
I could
entertaining me,
really.
and it's just the thing is, you
No,
get me
yeah.
going, and I can just waste my time forever like this.
Well,
Thank
you're
you.
one of those guys that we can kind of connect on a few different points. You know, I'm not too good at like long conversation that there's not something I'm obsessed about that the other person's also obsessed about.
Right.
So, you know,
Well, we can
I
riff
think
on
we
the
overlap.
same. Yeah, I agree.
So
I
anyway,
appreciate
but
it.
good talking to you, man.
Thanks.
Hope everything's going well with your everything, and we'll have a good week, man.
I
God
appreciate
bless.
it. You too. God bless. Thanks, Mark. Oh, just when it was heating up. Bye, Mark.
Yeah,
Still
trying
here.
to get out of here.
Everybody's having a problem. I'll kick you out. There we go. Mark's gone. Sorry, Mark. Good to see you. Thanks for talking. It's been a couple hours. I probably should wrap it up. It is interesting, though. I mean, it's just, but see, you've got. It's. I'm not saying that there aren't Christians out there. Christian YouTube loves to attack everybody, but I mean, you got the Reformed guys who are inspired by John MacArthur, and they have very much that kind of tone. And they're not part of the kind of evangelical wing that I think look at Mormons or Mormonism as Christianity. But you have I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong. Excuse me. Tell me if I'm wrong. There does seem to be a tone shift between much of evangelical Christianity and Mormonism. I look at the history of it. I mean, I'm more interested in the history than I am probably than in the deciding who's in and who's out. I see Mormonism very much as an American religion. In the same way I probably see the Restoration Movement, Churches of Christ, and I see Pentecostalism as an American religion. And maybe it is a Venn diagram, right? Maybe it's, where Christianity and American religion overlap, you can have a Christian faith in America. But think about it. Before the United States, was there a Christianity that wasn't attached to the land and the state and the government in which it operated? And if those who, you always had, you did in England, you always had dissenters and nonconformists, and they seem to multiply in England, but so much of those nonconformists who arrived in America came here because they felt persecuted. Paul Vanderklay's tradition, his group of Dutch immigrants were the result of a need to breathe free with their form of Dutch Calvinism because they felt oppressed in their homeland. It's a really interesting history. Google it. Well, you could talk about the Catholics. Is there really another? See, that's the one church that you could say it's Roman. It's called Roman Catholic or Roman Catholicism, but it is the most because Catholic means universal. So it's the oldest and first universal church. Anyway, if anybody wants to, I pretty much should wrap up. It's 6:30 almost, 6:20. I got 10 minutes if somebody wants to come in. Oh yeah, Ron's going to Champion? Wisconsin. Drive careful. You should come on and do a live report. Report live from on location, Ron. That'd be pretty good. It's a bit of a pilgrimage. You have to watch the prior live stream too, or listen to the last live stream. Ron came on and explained why he's going there. It's not a shrine built by Chad. It's just, you're saying it's geographically by Chad. What's that? Whose computer has a Templar cross of Lorraine symbol for a reason? Am I missing something? He could probably build a pretty nice one with his tiling skills, couldn't he? I'm still alive. Although we probably are wrapping up, unless you want to come in and say something. I will play a little music for the outro. What are we going to do? I should make some more. I need to make some new ones for fun. Oh, who's going to go to Vanderclay's who's going to go to Vanderclay's conference in Sacramento? Got your tickets? I got mine. God willing, I'll go. All right, 2 tickets. Good. Oh. Ron's here. Hey, Ron. I see you. You there, Ron? Testing, Ron. I'm telling you, you need to break out more foil. Are you with me, Ron? I'm not muted you. Did you mute yourself? Mute? Oh, Ron. You kind of look like an LP right now. With the big R in the label. I know I've not muted you.
All right.
There you are. I hear you. You there?
Yes, I am here. I will be patient and keep my camera off. We'll see how it goes.
Well, now you're rock solid. I hear you very clear. This is the best it's been.
Is it horrible?
I think we got a little tiny lag, but just keep talking. What do you want to say before? What do you want to send out? What do you want to tell the people in television land?
Okay, well, I'm going to assume that you can hear me, and I will just say, oh, okay. I am going to be heading up.
You went silent again. No. Shit. Try from your phone. Oh, you know what, Ron? Ron, are you there? In the chat, call me, and I will play you over the microphone. Let's try it. Maybe I'll call you. An experiment. I'll turn up.
Oh, this is brilliant.
Ron,
I love it.
Hey, we're always we're inventive.
Hi, Mark.
We're innovative. How you doing, Ron Copperman? You are on the internet.
Hi, this is Ron Copperman from Muncie, Indiana. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Hi, Mark D. Parker.
Hey, is it coming? Tell us if it's coming through in the chat. Are you, or if the system is blocking him out. But anyway, I think I got you right up to the mic, so I think it should be working.
Oh yeah. No, it'll work. If you have your it'll work fine because I've done it before. If you have a good microphone, you're going to be fine.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
So tell me what you're gonna go up to Champion. Is that what it's called? Champion, Wisconsin?
Yeah. Yes, that is correct. Champion. It's about 2 hours north of Chad and Mark S. And I intend on Chad and Mark Saturday, the 8th. And I thought, how can I not take this opportunity to spend a day, maybe, a Friday and Saturday morning in prayer in the one place in the United States where if I'm going to have a close encounter of the Marian kind, I'm aligning myself with the best chance, or at least not so much a close encounter with the Marian kind, but just really go to a place where diligent prayer has been occurring for a long time.
Okay.
And really engage. I've been to other places where prayer is happening, and it makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
It really does. When I'm like, I want to be careful on how I say this. I think you'll totally understand. It's not a make or break moment, but I'm all in. Like, okay, if anyone would like to talk at this moment, that's of Team Jesus, I am now absolutely listening and would welcome the conversation. And I wonder where that's I wonder where that's at in the Bible as an example, but I'm guessing there's something like that. So,
what do you mean by Team Jesus? We've discussed this before.
Well, and I'm making it whimsical just so that no one freaks out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you're afraid. You think that people, because you're going to a Marian shrine, that you think that people might think you're not Team Jesus.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's. Oh yeah. They in a loving way. I don't know what you call it, if it's frame breaking or axiom. It's not in their understanding or experience or theology, which, if it's not, I wouldn't expect you to understand it. Yeah. And to be honest with you, I don't. You know that, but it's also, I have encountered something that's worth following without a doubt. So, and talking with you and others really has helped stress test it, the nature of what I'm doing, just because the conversation is always so good. Like not once in 5 years have I got a Danger Will Robinson run away moment. But I'm also incredibly cautious and take my time, because as much as I am a goofball and play fast and loose with comedy, the theology part I take. I have a zero goofing around part when it comes to answering basic theological questions. Jesus, God, Son of God, yes or no? Absolutely yes. After that, going towards Mary, it gets, or whoever this may be, it's good but gray, as far as it's not black and white, and that's where people get nervous for possibility of demons and other voices and seducing spirits, stuff like that, which
maybe your I think what is it called, the church culture in which you have operated in for the last 25, 30 years, has been of a kind that is very alive, with concern about things like that. Because you operate, you go to a church that deals with stuff demons. And it's in an open way, so it's just so that, I guess you could say, that limits the flexibility some people have with crossing into experiences that you're now working in. Right. I think you're safer here than you. I mean, you're safe with us in a sense to express yourself. You may not feel quite so safe there, but go ahead.
No, that's exactly it. This is a safe place to stress test new ideas and experiences, I think, in a very solid, quarantined environment so that you won't hurt others. And also you can get protected, because there are good people here who will tell you, like, no, dude, you're talking to a demon, or at least, you might want to watch out. There's a consensus of theologically solid Christian folk here, that I'm friends with, that I seek out, that I engage with. That's part of the reason. That's absolutely the reason I'm here.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's fair.
Well, okay. Can I play with you for a minute?
Yeah. This is good. This is fun.
Do you find it at all ironic that since you were the one guy who face to face, when he had the opportunity, confronted John Vervaeke about Hermes?
How do you spell irony?
R-O-N?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or M-A-R-Y. But I think, and what's interesting? Okay, I like that, because I would put myself through I would want the same questioning for me as I would for John Vervaeke. Absolutely. I would actually welcome it. I really do.
I think God has a sense of humor, and it's also true that I do. I really do. I'm one of those people who say firmly, one of my few firm theological positions is that Jesus laughed.
Oh, heck yeah. Okay.
Some people, that's very upsetting to some people, but I definitely think Jesus laughed.
Look at me and you, okay? Talk about Laurel and Hardy. Like, we are, and it works well, though. It really does. We're both Buddhists. We have different political views.
You're a former Jubu. I do not have the Jubu status, unfortunately. I'm very sad about that.
Makes me more. I am Samaritan. Listen, if we're gonna go Jacob Federecci, I am not really Jewish. I'm Samaritan, and I can live with that.
Okay.
But before I become too proud about it, the thing with me and what's going on with me, it's funny. Let's go with me and John Vervaeke. He's pretty cool with what he's got going on. It's so weird. The moment something good happened, I actually freaked out and go, oh my gosh, this is good, and yet I have no grid for who this is, and I need to find out if I'm okay.
Well, we've been talking about this subject with you, your experiences, for the better part of a year now, right?
That's correct. It's only after a year, this last year, that I actually came out with it. It had been several years that I kept it quiet.
Yeah.
It was several years. I'm like, I ain't telling nobody about this one. Like, this will get me kicked out of the synagogue, and more so, I don't want to lead anyone astray.
Have you ever been to a mass, a Catholic mass?
Oh,
I know you prayed at the Catholic Church, but have you been to a mass?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, for 6 years, I was at a church with. To answer your question correctly, yes, a lot for 6 years.
So you know that you have the experience. So you've been to more than I have, because it's a fairly new experience for me. So
for 6 years.
So why do you think this thing would have gotten you kicked out of synagogue? It would have maybe not allowed you to participate in the church that your Pentecostal church.
Yeah.
But you would have been welcomed at the Catholic Church.
Yes, but I really,
That's not where you want to be.
This is the weird thing. I'm not that duck. I don't know what I am. It's funny. Okay.
But you wouldn't have. All I'm saying
question,
is that you wouldn't have been kicked out of the synagogue. You just might have been kicked out of a local classroom.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I'm kind of.
You don't want to break your friendships. You don't want to lose your friends. You don't want to lose. You enjoy the community you're at, and you don't want to mess that up.
Pretty much.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's it in a nutshell. And this is something, since we're so deep into the conversation, no one will really. It doesn't matter.
You keep saying that. And I'm going to dread the day that it turns out not to be true. But keep telling yourself that.
And to be fair, there's a certain point at which I don't care anymore. I used to. This reminds me of when I told my dad I was a Christian. Like when I told my dad, I knew the detonation that was going to happen, and I did it on purpose at Thanksgiving during the family meal, which was totally wrong, looking back on it. But I was so weak. It was either burn the bridge, burn the ships, no return, or I was afraid of failing, of denying, hiding Christ, being a coward. And so with this, it's not so much a faith issue, like Jesus is first and foremost, but it's just been, I haven't understood. I'm sorry about the grammar.
No, you're fine.
I'm going to use, I haven't understood it. Faith is a substance, now, pardon me, so sorry. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of
things not seen.
Not seen. Yeah. So the way I'm saying it is, I haven't understood it since the moment, and I'm understood. Since the moment it's occurred, it's been good and a mystery. But I am very comfortable and will die on this hill. It is good. I will not. I know God is cool with this. After that, I got nothing yet. I got the Book of Solomon, which talks about wisdom, which really is helpful and beneficial. I've gone through it 3 times now, because it talks about wisdom as a feminine form.
Mm-hmm.
That as I have gone through it, I'm like, yeah, this fits the bill. So if I've simply met wisdom, okay, cool. I can live with that. I'm not heartbroken if it's not Mary. I don't care who it is. I just want to make sure it's accurate. I'm not worshiping anybody. I'm not worshiping her. But I'm interacting, and I don't understand it I don't understand it other than it's good.
What's the difference between your interaction with, let's just say your interaction with Mary and your interaction, because we'll just say that. We'll just use whether it's accurate or not, we're not going to worry about it. And say your interaction with your, is it fair to say you have interactions with Jesus, or do you have interactions with the Holy Spirit?
All the time. Okay. Well, actually,
how do you think about
dice them up.
Okay.
I think the curious thing is, the moment I think about her, the Holy Spirit shows up.
Okay.
In His love.
Okay.
It is like turning on the light.
Okay.
There's no hesitation. It's instantaneously and one and the same, or in the moment. always, and it's always towards God and for God.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing about herself. It was, yeah. So that's actually what made me not hesitant about her, because there's nothing about her that wants attention. It's, as I think about her and interact, it's always about God. Always. It's not so much a crutch. It's just
Is it a feel? What happens? Can you maybe help? Because I don't. I intentionally, I kind of, to tell you the truth, I kind of intentionally avoid this mental space for me because of.
Okay.
I not against because of theology or anything. It's more just about a mental health thing for me. So I don't let my imagination go.
Okay.
And even though
Yes.
it may be authentic, I may be quenching the Holy Spirit by doing this.
No, you're not. You're not.
I just.
Yeah, I get you.
I just. So yeah. So what is it? What are you? Yeah. Go ahead. Just roll with it.
Okay. You're not quenching the Holy Spirit, and I totally agree with you. You don't need it. And what happened is that my interaction was I had basically an oppressive spirit from a long time ago where I got hurt and I just couldn't shake it. And I thought, am I permanently going to deal with this? And am I somewhat spiritually impure? I was questioning myself. So I understand why you avoid going into that territory, because that's where I was going. It was pretty dark, or actually getting hopeless, which is not cool. So I have a dream. In the dream, I see a swimming pool, which is very symbolic of my spirit. And the water was clean and pure. And I'm like, oh, okay. There is, that's my heart. There's nothing weird in it, and I'm fine. In the dream, a girl shows up and is very wholesome and kind and compassionate. Like, has one tear in her eye, and she's looking at me and she's concerned for me. And there's a very good interaction between us. Nothing crazy, but just very, very good. And I wake up and all the demonic stuff, the stress in my mind and heart is gone. And I got the love of God just encountering in my heart easy like it was in the beginning. And, for the lack of a better word, healing.
No, I hear you. I've had those kinds of experiences. And I guess I am working. I've gotten to a place, I'm in a place right now anyway, where I don't do anything to, I kind of go out of my way to avoid it, but I know what you're talking about. I know the feelings.
Okay. Well, and actually, I wasn't looking for this.
No, I get it. That's cool. I think it's good that you, I think it's just as good for you to chase it down, in a sense, to pursue it as it is for me to not pursue it at the moment. Because I could easily, something could change in my life where I would feel freer to pursue those things. I think part of the problem is in the last few years, I was so consumed with responsibility, just the most gritty day-to-day kind of responsibilities. I dare not let my mind or spirit run away with me, because I had to really keep, you really had to stay in touch with the day-to-day in a really just, and I suppose it just blocked out the pursuit of the spiritual. I mean, I can imagine there'd be another time when I feel freer. If I didn't have so many responsibilities weighing on me, I would probably feel more at ease. Although I don't know why I felt more at ease, say, 10 years ago, of taking big chances with my sanity. But
Well, I think that's just it. Like taking chance. Like, okay, here's the thing. Let's frame it this way. I don't want to take chances with my sanity or my salvation.
no, you don't want
And
to,
that's kind of where
but that's your anxiety, right?
Mhm.
That's your part of your
Yeah.
why you're double checking,
Yeah.
making sure your I's
Yeah.
are dotted and T's are crossed, so to speak.
Yeah. No, that's exactly it. No, that's okay. So here we are. And what I guess Neil Dedalis says one thing. He goes, listen, I don't have any answers other than from a Catholic perspective, just rest in the mystery, which, because I gave him the full rundown and he's heard it. And that's not bad. It's been, I've been doing that. And I think I have been slowly just getting comfortable with this encounter and new relationship over years, and one conversation after another, and having it, to be honest, always coming out the same. But I think even though they're very repetitive, there's something familiar that's starting to develop, that's like data points of good. Like in every conversation, I hear myself and feel it within my heart. Like, yeah, she's good. And I think I would be hesitant to say it's mere because I don't ever want to offend God. That's it in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
Really, it's, until unless.
I don't think that's going to happen,
himself,
but yes.
I know, you're probably right, but I think I'm able to articulate clearly, without any stress or distress, what my concern is.
Mm-hmm.
And you saying what you just said, like, I don't think I'll ever get a clear answer. Maybe it is a matter of faith, me accepting in faith that it is her and it's okay. And the reason I can say it's okay is because the fruits of it, I'm willing to let anyone judge, and I'll go biblical on this. I'm not going to, okay, so what I would let, and I would also go for the end game on this. It's always about Jesus and never about her or myself.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing I think this is an interesting conversation, because I think this is really it. I think this might not be the first time I've articulated it clearly with you, but I feel like this is a good one in which I'm calm and clear-minded about it. And I think you saying I'll never get an answer, that does sound like him. It sounds like I might have to go by faith on this.
That's really funny that you heard me say that, but I don't remember saying that. That's really funny.
Really?
That I don't think I said that, but
Really?
that you wouldn't get
What?
an answer. I don't think I said that, but.
Oh, then I misheard you. But
no,
that's curious.
You're hearing you're hearing what you need to hear. I can live with that.
Maybe, yeah. No, that's funny. Okay, so that's an oops, a positive oops.
Mm-hmm.
So what I thought you said, what I thought I heard you say, is I'll probably never get an answer. That it was like and it wasn't a negative statement. It was more like you just have to walk by faith. And I was like, that doesn't.
It sounds like something I'd say, but I don't recall saying specifically that. I have to go back to the tape.
That's why I took it. I'm like, dang, Mark, that was pretty good.
Well, I'm a genius even when I'm not talking.
Yeah. So what do you think of that statement? What do you think of that thought?
Well, I don't disagree with it necessarily, but I mean, it's interesting to me that you keep proceeding. you keep coming back around to the subject, and now you're taking
Correct.
actual real world action, so to speak, to
Yeah.
further your investigation,
Yeah.
if that's what we want to call it. And
Yeah. No, that's it.
and I think you're at one level. I would be honest. I don't think you need to go to have the answer.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you're going
Okay.
is going to deliver, is going to do more of the same. You're not going to go there and find out it's all demonic.
Right.
You're going to
No,
go
that- yeah, you're
there
correct
and
right
just
there.
you're going to get some degree of affirmation, and I suspect you'll get it. I think because
Mm-hmm.
I would be surprised if you didn't, because you're not
Right.
you don't have the same genetic defect that I have, that I am a doubter about everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Okay.
a doubter, but I'm like, I have perpetual FOMO, right? I can always look at, say, I'm never the kind of person who buys. I just bought a car recently. I'm not the kind of person who buys a car and say I'd have to tell myself, or will ever tell myself, I bought the best car. I don't ever look at it like that, right? It's just, yeah, it's a good enough car. We'll find out if it's any.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll wait and see if there's anything. If I could have really screwed up. I can. I always look and say I could have bought a different car that'd be just as good or maybe better. That's always how I look at things. I mean, I don't ever. I'm just a doubter. I see. I tend to see. You know how Picasso's paintings are like a combination of perspectives or angles on a subject?
Okay.
And that's kind of
Okay.
how I live. I live with multiple perspectives in my head all the time. So I'm never able really to inhabit a single perspective wholly, or when I do, it's very rare. And when I do, I tend a bit towards mania. If I get really excited about something, I can get a little manic about it. And because I know that about myself, I kind of, I'm happy living in doubt. I'm happy with, I've become comfortable with it. I'm actually uncomfortable with certainty. Let's put it that way. Wasn't always that way.
Okay.
But now I used to search for certainty. I now think as certainty is just not who I'm built for uncertainty. You don't have that problem. That's not a character defect that you have. I would say it's very possibly it's a character defect on my part. You are more able to be certain, just saying that God's here. When you'll just say God's here, you can live with that, and you're very happy saying that. I'm not like going, you'll probably never hear me say something like that, ever, ever in a million years. Not because I don't believe. It's not about belief or faith. It's just I'm more of a who am I to say? It's a self-doubt.
Okay.
So, so you're going to go, and now it's just saying I'm uncertain of things. I'm fairly certain you're going to come back with a really positive take on it, and hopefully it will move you a bit off the dime, because you have been kind of circling the drain on this for a while. I'd like you to be less questioning, less vulnerable to, as a friend, I'd like you to be, I'd like you to feel less vulnerable to, if anything, not reckless, but the chips will fall where they may. I want you to be happy and inhabit the truth. And if the pastor of your church loses his friggin' mind, that you can go, oh, well, okay, I'll live with that. Because if this is something that's real and important to you, I think it's important that you not let other people take it away from you.
I think that's it in a nutshell. I think that's it. I think you just described it pretty accurately. So there's two things. Yes, I do. When God shows up, or an angel, or someone from Team Jesus, it's pretty clear to me internally, so I don't mince words. This one, I know it's Team Jesus. I just don't know the name or the position. And if it is Mary, it's not to live in any kind of doubt. And that's why I'm only doing it in TLC territory. But, so no one gets hurt, but I still test it out. But if I did get, a confirmation, a real one, I could live with that. And I think you're right. I think I am concerned of where the chips will fall, but I think that's probably a strong part of it, to be honest with you, just because they will fall. And there's a point in my life where if I'm old enough to not care where they fall, in a proper way, like, I think you understand what I mean.
But you can also see it. I mean, I think though. I mean, you don't know what's going to come out of it, and you can, and that's the not knowing that's positive, right? You can come out stronger. I mean, this is. I mean, to me, it's like this is not the kind of stuff that makes or breaks faith, in my opinion.
Right.
It's just it's a pilgrimage, and pilgrimages produce a certain kind of fruit for the faithful, and it's good. The stuff that makes and breaks people tends to be much closer to home and much more materialistic, so to speak. I mean, it's like you've spoken about difficulty with family and stuff like that, or like the thing, I think, like the recent event with the young man that your church has experienced, right? That's the kind of thing that rocks faith. That's people. So if you go, but see, obviously your church is dealing with stuff. If you just the fact that within the community, you're. I mean, I think that young man's suicide could present a challenge to a lot of people in that church for years to come. If you can go make this pilgrimage next week, come back better equipped to deal with that, and as you grow in this, I could see that helping. I mean, I could see that being something that it's like you're going off to get, you're taking some time for yourself to get whatever you want to call it.
You said
personal.
You said something.
No.
You said something. These are things that make or break you. This interesting thing is, this could, in a positive way, remake me. It redefine me, and also re-empower me, if that makes sense. And I'll try to explain what I mean by re-empower. A long time ago, I made an error in my heart during ministry, and I let bitterness into my heart. And we talked about this. I had a demon of depression for several years, and then finally got rid of it through forgiveness. And since then, I haven't really been 100% online, power-wise, if that makes sense. And with this interaction with her, I could see myself getting back to that. and helping people in a way with the same amount of power I had when I was first born again. When I say power, I mean just interacting with God, having the free flow, and having the wisdom of someone who's screwed up pretty bad to know how to, I hope, walk humbly, which sounds funny for me saying it. Like I think I'll be more humble in the future, but I think that because I've screwed up, I'll know when I'm screwing up if it's coming at me again, and I will seriously lock up the brakes and cut it out. But also not only know how to avoid bad things, but I think to be much more effective in helping people. And what you just said is something that Grimm said a while ago. He said the same words. He's like, you need to get it together with this girl and get locked and loaded, because there are people out there who need you. And I think that statement is right. And I feel it even now when I'm saying it to you. And if, because of my buddy who passed, I don't know what more I could have done, and I'm not beating myself up. But now I'm here for those who are left, just his younger brothers and others. And if I can get, to put it in my nice crass way, to get my head out my butt, or just to get my head in the game, then to get my head in the game, to be here for not just myself, but in my own satisfaction of being in a relationship with God, but being happy about it, and out of that overflow, be able to help others and get them in a good, happy place with God, in a place of overflow as well. And if it happens to be with her help or interaction, fine. It's probably no big deal to God, and I'm the one who's been making a big deal out of it for the past 5 years. And the chips, it's not so much they fall, it's just they get shifted.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, there will be people who are theologically uncool with this, and
here's the thing. I probably need to wrap up, but I would say that you don't worry about those people.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, and the scriptural basis I have for that is Jesus said he came for the sick, not for the well. So it's like I'm thinking like you're there for the guys. See, there's something missing. Like the young man who recently died, who killed himself.
Mm-hmm.
He felt despair in a church community with what sounds like an act of faith, but still couldn't overcome the despair, which says to me that and this is true for all human society. So it's not just your church's problem. Okay, that's not what I'm saying.
Right.
There's something. There's a weakness. There's something missing in the community that they couldn't save someone in their own midst, suffering so profoundly, to prevent the tragedy. I mean, at such a young age. Now, that's true for everybody. I mean, this is everywhere. So it's not just your church's problem. But in a community, if you can if you can go off, come back, sort yourself out, and be a stronger brick in the structure. I mean, to be there, to give. You'll come back with some new medicine, so to speak, that you can deliver to people in ways that they're not used to. That help, because I think there's a spirit of. I mean, those. Yeah. There's a reason why these things can become a kind of social contagion, and even if it doesn't, okay, You with me?
Oh no, I've already dealt with this. I've already decontaminated someone. There was a young girl who says, there was a voice saying I'm next. I'm like, oh
Well,
no, you don't.
that's where,
And,
yep. These things run in spurts
yep.
often. And
Yeah.
whether you call it a psychological or sociological phenomenon, or whether you call it a spiritualist, demonic sort of thing, it doesn't matter what you call it. We just know that these things
Right.
do tend to run away with us in
Mhm.
communities for some reason.
Yeah.
Sometimes, it becomes newsworthy. We don't want that. So I think it's probably providential that you're going now
Mhm.
to do this,
Yeah.
make this pilgrimage, to get what you can, to come back. But I would also say don't, this is not to
Mhm.
be ready for surprises.
No, explain. I don't. Well, do it pushback?
No.
Heck, that's okay.
No. Be ready to have your socks knocked off, but in ways that you're not. Be
Okay.
open to having your
way?
socks knocked off in ways that you can't predict.
Okay.
Be-
Okay. I think. Okay.
it's like
think-
like an adventure, and you don't know. Part of the adventure is the unknown.
Well, I'm asking God. I am asking an eternal being, who me and you know is good. I'm knocking on his door and asking him to say hi and talk with me. And
But
what
it's
happens
really
after
important.
that-
I think the thing that's really important, though, is to understand that he's not going to talk to you to just make you feel good. He's going to
okay.
talk to you so that you can, when you turn around with whomever you find yourself, it's there to. I think it's there for the benefit of the community. It's just like Paul talking about tongues in church. Remember, in 1 Corinthians, he's
Right.
telling he'd rather have
Yeah.
speaking in tongues is great, but
Yeah.
prophecy is better, or interpretation is better.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah.
So whatever you get, I think,
Yeah.
pray that it's beneficial to a community that's in pain, and it's going to be in pain for a while.
Yeah. This isn't for me, or not just for me.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah, no, I like that. I think, to be honest with you, I think a long time ago it was just for me. Even when I was doing good, I look back on myself. I'm like, oh, okay. I know my motivations, and
We're all like that, though.
um,
We're all like that to some degree or another at various times,
Right.
and we kind of grow
Right.
out of it. Hopefully it's like what John Wimber used to say is, God help me grow up before I grow old. That's what we're always chasing after.
I think, and I'll say this quietly here, but yeah, I think I'm getting it, especially after this. After what I've gone through.
Because you've got two things working against you. I keep interrupting you. I'm sorry. We got two things you're caught between a polarity, right? You on one hand, you have been chased. There's this thing that won't let you go with Mary, right? This experience, right?
Right. Yeah.
This kind of forbidden spiritual experience that's drawing you closer to God on the one side. On the other, there's been this. The other side of the pole is the anxiety. That's been holding you back or tying you down or whatever. It's been pulling you in a kind of making you doubt and question and uncertain about this. It feels like a blessing on one hand, but I think you're meant to have both. Is my point. That's back to this thing of, I think you're going on a pilgrimage to be equipped to go back to the community who can't handle the pilgrimage.
Okay.
So you see, okay, with me?
Yeah, I like that. That makes perfect sense. I think that's it in a nutshell. I think you're spot on.
Well, it happens every once in a while.
I think that's exactly it.
There you go.
Yeah, no, but it just, that sounds about right. That's exactly it.
So let it be. It's going to be what it is. And I think in the long term, who knows what shapes it will take in the future, but I can't tell you how out in the closet to be, right? I mean, you know me. I'm basically whatever you see in the moment is what you get. I'm as out as you can get, in anything. That's not necessarily the best place to be. That's not for everybody. So I can't tell you you're going, now you go back and tell everybody about it. You may still end up keeping this in your heart. This still may be a big secret 5 years from now. But that doesn't mean that just because it's a big secret, so to speak, or it's private. Let's just say it's not secret, it's private. Private's very, very biblical, actually. Okay? And I can cite scripture and verse on it if you like. It's appropriate for you to be private with God but still take his gifts to the community that can't necessarily cope with what you're keeping the full.
Okay.
You don't have to give them the full Monty,
Okay. Yeah, I think that's exactly it. Because I've had these thoughts that you're saying. I was thinking about doing it that way. And I didn't know if that was honest. And I'm not being evasive, I'm just being private.
That would be my opinion. I mean, it's for me, but see, for me, I can't contain. Maybe it's a lack of self-control. It could be a real, it could be, again, a character flaw. Or it could be just a feature. A feature or bug, who knows, right?
Right.
My personality is to be out there because I think it's a anxiety about honesty, right? But on the other hand, I definitely am not, though. See, I'm still private enough. I think there's just a place for privacy. I mean, Ham is punished by God for remember for looking. It's very vague, euphemistically spoken, but looking upon the nakedness of his father Noah. Right. They're just things that are private. They're perfectly good. They're good. They're wonderful, but they kept private, and they're supposed to be private. In fact, it's kind of a sin to expose them. It is a sin to expose them. We know this. So and it's, Jesus goes off to the desert. We're only told little bits and pieces about what he does when he goes off in the wilderness and prays, or he goes to a mountain. We don't really know it. I mean, we get glimpses, right? A little here and there, but we don't know what really happens. You can go off, but then he turns around and comes back and he blesses the people. This is what I think, if you need to be as honest as you think you need to be. You're very good at intuition. I mean, what I call intuition, you call maybe leading of the spirit, but I think you have good spidey sense that you can navigate things. And people see I don't think there are that many Pentecostals in the corner, but your beloved character in the corner. I mean, it's like even Ups. The Ups interview. You remember the Ups interview I did? I mean, one of the things he said was how much he loves you. I mean, you're like one of the gems in the corner. So and I think you're that way because you really know how to be yourself and yet be yourself in a non-abrasive way, in a non-confrontational way. I think you could probably, in the end, you'll know how to navigate all of this stuff in a way with your pastor, with your, Phoebus asked, like, are you afraid of talking to your pastor about this stuff? I think in the end, I think you're going to know exactly what to say and how to say it when the time comes. Just in the same way that Jesus says, when you're brought before the judges, don't worry about what you're going to say. The Holy Spirit will give it to you. I think you'll be just fine.
I think you're right. I appreciate that too quite a bit. This has been a very okay. So let me just go with I think you're right, and I think this whole thing is spot on. The one thing I didn't tell you, this is good. In the dream, it was an impression I got when I woke up, and I absolutely didn't do it. Is she wanted me to be quiet. Like when I get quiet, she shows up, and when she shows up, he shows up at the same time. It's a very easy encounter, and the more quiet I am about all of it, the more
of it
he
you
shows
get.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's more. It's that the really precious stuff you keep to yourself. It's just, I mean, to me, it all just jives. It makes perfect sense. And the more you see, I'm a talker, so the more you talk, the more I can't have stuff like this. I can't keep it for very long because I can't contain myself.
You know, it takes a miracle to shut me up.
But
and that's maybe what we got going on.
There you go. Maybe so.
Yeah.
So I would say just keep doing. I look forward to hearing what you have to say from your trip. And
thanks.
Or not say.
Appreciate
you
it.
don't feel like you have to either.
No, actually, with you. No, like there are certain people that are open doors. You're one of them. There's my friends, you know what I mean? Like the ones that I talk with. There's this is how I'm actually working this stuff out. And like these are private conversations. Yeah, they're on the internet, but really they're private conversations.
Yeah, we only have a handful of onlookers. It's just the teeny tiny. When I have 500,000 subscribers, and because of my Subaru maintenance videos,
right.
or salsa recipes, who knows? But no, it's just a joke. No, it's a different. But no, you're right. It's not. I think though. I feel like it. I mean, I don't know if I'm giving you any confirmation spiritually or not, but it feels right that the timing is right. That you guys have. Did you make the decision to go after the tragedy, or has it already made?
No, this was before.
So the trip up to Wisconsin you made the decision before?
Let me get the.
I'm just curious
because it's kind of blurry. I'll tell you what. I wanted to go visit Chad and Mark when Skank was starting the ingression.
So that's before.
Yes. So I had my mind on visiting Chad and Mark before. Definitely. I think, it was probably before all this went down that I booked the room. But they're incredibly close to each other. There's probably before, because I wouldn't have had them. It's close enough to say they would be a day within each other of everything happening. They're that close. They're just, I don't know if it was the event first and then me going, or me getting my room.
I just feel like there's a relationship here. So I would say just see where it's. Yeah, I think there's something happening. It makes sense.
I think you're right. Yeah, you're right. If you happen to throw a few prayers out at this juncture, for everything you said, I really agree with everything you've said. And I'm not putting any bridle on your prayers. I'm not I think you have a good sense of what's going on. And let me, wait a second. Yeah, it's, God, I hate saying it this way because I don't mean it, but it's not like a make or break moment, but it feels like there's something
Important?
I'm going there. Yeah, for sure. Like I'm not messing around. Like all kinds of hell has broken loose beforehand, and now I'm like, fine, the hell has broke loose. Let's do this. Let's go have a serious face-to-face and see what happens. You know, and I think you saying expect something you don't expect makes sense. But I'm okay with that. Like, and I think I should say now, like, Todd, I'm okay with it. Whatever you got, Pop. I haven't said it. I haven't prayed this way in a long time. Whatever you got, Pop. I'm cool with it. And I'm not being, how do I put it? When I call him Pop, that's the highest compliment I can call him as a father. Like, I don't say daddy, like Jesus said Abba Father, which means daddy father. I'm not going to do that. But an Americanized version of daddy, it'd be, hey, Pop. Like, you know, this, I'm not taking him for granted, or it's more like, even though I'm an adult and he's God, this is the mode in which I talk to him as a little kid would talk to a father, you know, in good standing, in a non-formal moment that's appropriate to talk to him. So I'm like, okay, Pop, I'm in. And now we'll see what happens.
Yep.
You know, I'm going to keep praying. So I appreciate it, dude.
Cool.
This has been good. Yeah.
You are. You'll be in our prayers. I mean,
I appreciate it.
people are always saying
It's
it.
fun. Before you split, how are you doing? How you doing? Just synopsis. Like,
Doing all right.
got a new car?
Yeah, got a new car.
Okay. Yeah.
It's funny. Yeah, it's no, it's doing okay. Everything's my daughter's getting a little bit better slowly. She's
Okay.
healing slowly, and there's
Okay.
a lot of work to do with regard to things, but you know, it's all good.
Mhm.
It's all good.
Okay.
I've got to
I
just
gotta.
go ahead.
No, I gotta remember your daughter in prayer more.
No, it's all right. No, one's good. One's good.
Yeah.
God doesn't forget.
Maybe it's not Jewish guilt. It's like more like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Like, I want to bother God on your behalf.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. No, it's all good.
Yeah.
No, things are as good as they're going to be, I think. Everything's all about one foot in front of the other.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
just one foot in front of
you.
the other. Don't try to get too overwhelmed, because it's easy to get overwhelmed. It's just, you know,
Right.
and it's yeah. No, I don't know. I'm hoping that everything goes to plan and I'll be able to go to the Sacramento conference at Paul's, the PVK's Living Stones. And did you see Freddie? Freddie's back. Freddie and Paul made an appearance together.
Okay, that's a new show. I saw that.
Yeah, it's a brand new one.
It's new?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'll have to check that out. Oh, that's actually very good news.
Yeah, maybe I'll play that on the outro. Let me see if I can.
Yeah. No, definitely.
That was good.
Oh.
It was good to see Freddie back, getting better.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm getting a crown tomorrow, so that's always fun. Tomorrow morning at 8.
Lord, in the name of Jesus, have the crown, have the tooth prepared properly, have the crown made properly, let it fit together well, and let the bite be perfect and long-lasting, and just really a great and beneficial thing for Mark. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
I'll take it. Now, if I had real faith, I would trust in my cracked tooth. But
stop! Listen, just stop that.
But on the other hand, but then it's back to the whole thing of like, the guy, the old story about the flood. The guy's up on the roof playing, "Lord, save me from the flood, save me from the flood." A boat comes by, he says no, and a canoe comes by. He goes, he dies, he drowns ultimately. He says, and God said, "God, why didn't you save me?" And God says, "I sent a boat and a canoe
and a helicopter
helicopter."
It was a canoe, a boat, a helicopter. Yeah, exactly. So take your crown and enjoy what God has provided through dentistry, and you can bless God for the well-fitting, functioning crown.
So I'll take it. So let's just let it all go, because the thing is a lot of people in the world who would love to get their teeth crowned and can't.
Heck yeah.
And it's a privilege that I have it, so I will take it. So I'm going to play. We'll talk more. Hopefully, if we don't talk before you go, have a safe trip, and we'll keep you in my prayers. I'm glad we had a good discussion. And thanks. This was good. This was a nice surprise. Yeah. And we're going to have to remember to do this in the future. So whenever you're roboting, we'll just call in. Just call in.
It makes it so much easier. I love it. It's outstanding.
All right.
All right, dude.
All right. Thanks, Ron.
And Pete.
I guess you can't leave the stream. I got to hang up on you.
Oh, no.
Bye, Ron.
Yeah, that's fine. All right. Bye. Bye.
Bye. All right. That was Ron Copperman. All right. Here we go. Let's play the return of the Freddie and Paul show.
Come over here.
Okay, Fred, we're on.
Hey, you guys. I know you've been wondering how I've been doing. I'm doing much better. If any doctor knows how to get a shoulder fixed, let Paul know, because I would like to get much bigger. I weigh 211 now. That's not much.
That's plenty. That's plenty. 211 is plenty. I wish I weighed 211. I wish I weighed 211.
What are you doing out there? I'm gonna do a rap on, so they know I can still rap.
Oh, there you go. Okay, go ahead.
Everybody want to rap, but they ain't paid dues, cause Freddie's on the mic wearing his shoes, coming up like this, coming up like that, enough to the chat. My stuff is fat, I bust platinum tracks. Out your speaker. 9 months later, they announced me as the teacher. Like this, like that. I want my shoulder blade to be good, that's a fact. Don't you know? Good to go, like solid gold. We got Paul, the master man.
And the master
He's
rapper.
the church, and that is man. He's from the church, don't you know? I'm Freddie B, and I'm good to go. Don't you know Charles J does his thing? He's just like a chicken wing on a string, doing it hard, doing it right. Hey, you fans, I'm out of sight. I'm back again. Don't you know? Good to go. Don't you know? CJ, Pastor Paul, Freddie B, and that ain't all. Peace out. One love. Amen.